All right, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum, shalom, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back. We are live with the book study of Fall of America by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We are on chapters 47 through 49, and I am here with the one and only Sister Queen Mayat. Peace and blessings. How you doing, Queen?
Hey, I'm doing good. Happy Tuesday, everybody. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right, doing all right. Trying to make sure I got all this stuff squared away. I have the fan on? Can you hear the fan?
I think last time I could, but I don't hear it today.
You don't hear it? Okay, perfect.
I don't hear it right now.
Okay, great, great. All righty. So I'm down to one screen. So
Okay.
if you want to share something, you got to tell me so I can come back to this screen.
All right.
Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to get started, jump right in there. Uh, but before we do that, before we jump right in, I do have to ask you, because on your channel, you're doing the book study over there about Robert Williams. Um, how has that study and also the Fall of America, how has those, has they, kind of like combined or um, give you a deeper insight on what you're reading over there?
Um, so when it comes to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the book Negroes with Guns that I'm reading on my channel, the correlation for me when I contemplate the study that we're doing and the book that I'm reading on my channel, the white man is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
The white man is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other way to describe the white man. And Elijah Muhammad said he taught us that.
Mm-hmm.
And what I am getting out of this, what stands out to me the most, because I'm actually reading 3 books at a time. That's one of my downfalls, is that I read multiple books at one time.
Mm.
So I'm doing Fall of America, Negroes with Guns, and The Bomb Heard Around the World.
Mm.
And as I read all 3 books, I'm in the process of compiling a list of the types of crimes that we suffered, because I knew that we were victims of some of the most vicious violence, right?
Right.
But to actually read about the types of crimes that was committed against us from people who lived during those time periods, it blows my mind. Because like the bombs, like one particular individual, they snatched him out of his car. He was a young black guy. They snatched him out of his car, dragged him into the woods. They beat him unmercifully. And when they killed him, they shot his body 400 times,
Mm.
riddled his body with like 400 bullets. And so a young girl, Robert Williams talks about a 17-year-old teenager who was beaten by a guard. She was in jail and the guard beat her to death simply because she complained about the prison food. So when I read information like that, the depravity of white people, it has really opened my eyes further, because I told you before, and I'll say it again, and I even mentioned it in the reading of Negroes with Guns. When I think of white people, you can take every horror film, and you've heard me say this, you can take every horror film that they've ever produced, and it pales in comparison to what they have done to people all over the world. These people have no low point to the depravity of the things that they do. And when you see it on film, understand they've done it or they're thinking about doing it.
Mm.
So we're dealing with monsters. We cannot possibly be dealing with humans. And so it's just really opening my eyes to who they are. And I really see them even more different now. Like I just left a chiropractor's office with my mother, and when I walked in, all of the people behind the
Mm-hmm.
counter were European. And when I looked at them, I could see that they were liars. I could see
Mm.
that they were predators. Like I could see the energy inside of them, and I knew that each and every person behind that counter was a piece of shit. And I'm really upset with my mother because she is a product of Jim Crow. She's a Jim Crow baby. She lived in black town, colored town, nigger town. She stood at the black bus stop. She went through the back door. She went to the all black school. And you have a choice to choose any chiropractor that you want to, but you choose these white people because as soon as I walked in, I knew I was looking at three beasts. I was just
Mm.
looking at three animals. And so to answer your question, it has really awakened me even more to really be confident when I say that the white man is the devil.
Mm-hmm. Definitely,
You
definitely.
you can't save them. You can't civilize them.
Mm-mm.
There's nothing you can do but separate yourself completely from them
Mm-hmm.
because they are depraved in the worst way. And I'm
Mm.
just learning about the different things they did to us. And it's actually blowing my mind. Like, you say something, you get evicted. You say something, you lose your job. You say something, your child go missing. You say something, your house to be burned down. The levels to their intimidation is endless. And we
Mm.
still see it today.
Mm. Mm-mm. Off the charts, off the charts. You know, and for me, listening to that book review, the book study that you're doing, and hearing the atrocities that happen and the fighting, the intense drama that was unfolding, you know, especially with the and as you're reading, um, you know, and the inflection of your voice goes up and down. It
Mm-hmm.
it brings the book to life, you know. And at one point, it's like, you know, I'm feeling like I'm actually there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really an experience that all of our people should definitely go and listen to and see for themselves. But what it did for me, it reminded me that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, "Stay where I put you. Stay where I put you. Do not exceed from where I put you." And he put us at separation, not trying to be integrated into a dying society. And listening to what they went through because they wanted full integration. They wanted, you know, a pool so that the children can go swimming in. Um, and it's like, if they would have listened to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, none of that stuff that they went through would have ever happened because they would have built their own and made their own. And it was like a few times listening in, I understood that they didn't know and understand the depths of the enemy. And when you don't know or understand the depths of the enemy, you're not capable of dealing with the enemy, because there were several mistakes that were made simply because we underestimated the enemy and his what do you want to call it, his animalistic instincts, maybe, his depravity, how
Mm-hmm.
low he would go. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's like those things were underestimated. But listening to that and then doing, you know, what we're doing over here with the fall of America, it just it what Robert Williams is doing to me is he's sealing everything that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is saying with the experience that they lived through. He's sealing it 1000%. There's no guessing, is the white man the devil? You know the white man is the devil. Ain't no guessing.
There ain't no guessing.
You know it. You see it. This is what it is. This is real life. This is real life. And you know, they did a movie of the Deacons for Defense. But in that movie that they did, wasn't nothing compared to what you're reading.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing compared to what you're reading. Nothing. It doesn't even compare. It does not even compare. So those who did that movie should really be ashamed of themselves for reporting a half truth, not honestly being real with what actually happened.
Yeah. It
But
was indescribable.
yes.
It was, when I say indescribable, to know what was going on in front of that man's house in real time, and what that would have looked like if we could have been there, or at least see it on screen from someone like you and I, who not going to add no fluff or fantasy to it. That had to be that was like that. I have no words to describe it. I never knew in my lifetime that something like that happened. And we have a lot of work to do. And even when you asked me about the NAACP before we started, as a matter of fact, Harry Moore, the individual that we spoke about earlier in the study, who the Klan put a bomb under his house, he also had negative points of view about the NAACP, because he realized very quickly that although they appear to be advocating for civil rights, they were not trying to go out of their way to get Black people registered to vote. And so even Harry Moore had to separate himself from the NAACP, because he was like, I know that if I can get Black people to vote, that is where our power lies in making decisions. And that was a big threat to white society. And so the NAACP has been taking a lot of L's as a result of me reading this book. I like the level, the extent that they went to say, well, what's going on in Cuba? And Robert was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why the fuck is you questioning me about Cuba? What the fuck is going on in America? I don't give a damn how much they smile, how many times they shake our hands and appear to like us, love us, and want to be our friends. Dr. John Henry Clark said, we have no friends. There's a basketball player who just got a 3-year deal, $45 million. And I responded, now here come the snow bunnies. Here come the snow bunnies pretending now that they love Black people because they see dollar signs.
Right.
So the NAACP officially, I get it now. It was a way for them to survive. They only got involved to live. Because if we went our own way, they were going to lose money, and they may even have lost their lives. And I have no respect for these people whatsoever. Under any circumstances, they are a big embarrassment. A big embarrassment.
Yep.
So, but thank you for watching. I really appreciate that. It was a good read, and I'm almost finished.
Yes, it definitely is a good read. And like I said, I advocate for all of those who follow this book study. Make sure you go to my ops channel and follow that one as well. It's a verifier that everything that we're going over now is 1000% correct. It verifies what we're studying here in the book study. And, you know, no matter what, I mean, you know, me and Doc been doing our program for years. Now, I'm gonna ask Doc, do he know about it? because me and him never talked about it. Because I knew I didn't know nothing about it. I
You
didn't know
never heard
nothing
about
about it.
Robert Williams?
I heard about him. I knew about him, but what you reading and what he went through, I didn't know about none of that. I didn't know none of. I didn't know none of that. All I knew is that they believe in self defense. You come fuck with me, we gonna fuck with you. That's all I knew about him.
Man, they had teenagers putting guns in the police face. Robert literally, his affiliates, his little militia, he had teenagers with weapons putting it in the face of police. And the motherfucking police was backing the fuck up off them niggas. They didn't want no smoke. And he said, as long as white blood was not being spilled, law enforcement didn't give a fuck. But when they knew that some white blood was going to be spilled, that's when they want to establish law and order. He had a 17, he had to what we would call children, young men out there with guns pointed at police. Motherfucker, move, bitch. And it'll be singing and flower bringing motherfucker. And them police was backing the fuck up off them black people.
Exactly.
That's all we need is unity. That's all we need.
Exactly.
Is unity. I wrote down in my notes when we started talking earlier, PTPS, post traumatic pacifist syndrome, is what we probably suffer from. Post traumatic pacifist syndrome.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And when I asked you earlier this week about do you think we have a trauma bond with the enemy? And because I've been studying that, and I'm gonna teach on that on Sunday, but because I see the correlation, and it helped me to understand when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that you love the devil because he gives you nothing. And to be able to open that bad boy up and look at it for what it is, it's just like bells and whistles start going off in my head, because I now understand that statement 1000%. I now understand that passivity that you're talking about 1000%. And every single day, this enemy doubles down to make sure that that passivity lives, that it never dies. When we were out in St. Louis, right after Mike Brown got killed, and we were walking around over there, and the people were showing us where they had his body, and his body was there for hours, just leaving his body there. They did that because they want to make sure that you understand, and they put fear in you that, nigga, we will take your life and don't give a damn about it, which produces more passivity. And so this whole psychological trauma that they have put on us to keep us passive is just like, wow. It is really something. And Sunday, we're going to deal on that. We're going to deal on that, because that has to be broken. That has to be broken.
Yeah. And you're going to see when we get to start reading chapter 47 how everything is tying in together. Energy, the universe is really involved in this. Watch when we start reading, you're going to see how it all comes together.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Wow. You ready?
Yes, ma'am. Let me go ahead and share the screen.
So we're going to do chapters 47, 48, and 49 tonight. Chapter 47, the title is America's Dreaded Destiny. America and her people have been here, according to history, since a few years after Columbus, the explorer. She conquered the Aboriginal Red Indians, the original owners of the land, whom she found here and took it for a home for herself and kind. She has continued conquering until her conquering power has gone around the earth, affecting every civilized nation, submission to her will. She was successful in forcing other people to bow to her will, whether they liked it or not. Now, it is the hand of God which is after America to force her into submission, a hand from which we have no defense, as it is written and prophesied in the Bible, under the name of Babylon. Jeremiah 51, verse 25 says, Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord, which destroyeth all the earth, and I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 53 says, Though Babylon should mount up to heaven, and though she should fortify the height of her strength, yet from me shall spoilers come unto her, saith the Lord. America is under a destruction similar to that of ancient Babylon. In the Bible, Jeremiah, Isaiah, and Revelation of John prophesied concerning her. Babylon, their mention, is a future Babylon and not a Babylon of the past. America has enslaved all of the so called Negroes, and her evil mistreatment of them is similar to ancient Babylon's enslavement and mistreatment of the Jews, according to the scriptures. It took the hand of God to bring the king of Babylon and his people into submission to the power of God. He brought the surrounding kings and their power against ancient Babylon in the prime, the height of her glory. The handwriting on the wall, the casting of Daniel and his followers into a fiery furnace, making drunk the people of God with their strong wines and then mocking them. So has America done to the so called Negro. America makes him drunk with wine, whiskey, and beer, and then laughs at him. She put him into the fiery furnace, burned him at the stake while sitting around with her families, drinking intoxicating drinks and laughing at the burning flesh of God's people. There is no justice whatsoever. As Revelation gives it, she made all the world drink of the wine of her fornication, but an end is coming to such evil doings. I want to go back to verse 8 before I go to the next page.
Okay.
Because this is so true. And for those of you who have never read the book, it's called 100 Lynchings. 100, I think it's 100 Lynchings. That book is filled with actual reports, newspaper documents, articles from lynchings that occurred in the United States of America. Remember, they were posting or publicizing this information in a newspaper and broadcasting it on radio. The date and time and the actual name of the person that would be lynched. In one particular report I read on my channel years ago, that there was I think he was a northerner, because this particular lynching, I think it took place in the South. And there was a northerner, a man who literally drove hundreds of miles with gasoline in his car to pour on one of our brothers so that he could be burnt on an open fire. And Elijah Muhammad says that when they were burning our black bodies, right, as if in a goddamn furnace, what was the white man doing? He was drinking. He was laughing while our bodies, our flesh was burning. They took it as a sport, literally. And I keep saying that many of these people who participated are still alive. That's one of the most profound things I'm getting from the reading of the books, is that the time in which some of these things occurred. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of these people are still alive and acting as if they have no racist past
Right.
because they know that they do. And maybe, just maybe, they're afraid that their name might be written in a book
Mm.
or on a postcard. You see?
Exactly.
And that's why when I read chapter 6, I was spelling out names, because a book I read last year, it was called, oh, I forgot the name of the book that I read. It was about I forgot the name of the book, but there was a young man in this book. His last name was Kemp, Kemp. And I know a lot of Kemps. I
Mm-hmm.
know a lot of Kemps. And this particular man was killed by a white police officer, and he shot him in the head, a child. And he was a victim of a police lynching. And the family had no clue that one of their ancestors had been lynched until I told them about the book I read, and I showed them, and that was their relative.
Mm.
And so, one thing I love about autobiographies is that, especially like Elijah Muhammad, Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, Malcolm X. Well, Malcolm X didn't technically do a biography, but Robert Williams and people like that, they name names.
Right.
They give you the first name and the last name. And, it is up to us to do the research and gather that information so that we can know who these people are. And I
Mm-hmm.
will rest with this. In the beginning of the book, Negroes with Guns, Robert Williams talks about a individual by the name of Bynum Griffin. Bynum Griffin was a white racist. He was a Klans member, and he lived in Monroe, North Carolina. He had a car dealership. He sold Chevrolets. When Robert Williams was picketing the integration of the swimming pool, Bynum Griffin literally tried to push this man over a cliff with a 70-foot drop. Okay.
Mm.
And so he did a lot of damage to Robert's car. Police would not do anything. The Justice Department would not do anything. Nobody would come and, do what the law says that they should do according to the job description. And what I found out is that same Chevrolet is still open and in operation in Monroe, Union County, North Carolina.
The car dealership.
Fuck yes.
Wow.
The same motherfucking car dealership that Bynum Griffin had affiliation with selling Chevrolets, that goddamn car dealership is still open in Union County, Monroe, North Carolina. And when I did some digging into the family tree, they are very meticulous not to mention his name because they know that cracker got a racist past and they don't want his name affiliated with the dealership because they want niggas to still come and spend money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That didn't take me a good 5 minutes.
Wow.
And I said to myself, Black people need to know this. They
Exactly.
need to know that they should not be going to Griffin Chevrolet in Monroe, North Carolina, buying a motherfucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because that cracker almost killed our brother, Robert Williams, simply for standing up for what the Constitution says he has the right to.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
that's what these motherfuckers do. That's why they don't want history to be taught. Because I'm telling you, as I sit here today, a lot of them motherfucking crackers' name is in them autobiographies.
Mm-hmm.
Their motherfucking name is on them family trees when you go look up the family on ancestry.com.
That's right. That's right.
It's not their responsibility to teach us our history. That is
Mm-hmm.
our responsibility. And let me tell you,
Mm-hmm.
if we were Jewish, I guarantee you we would not be patronizing that Chevrolet. I guarantee you that.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And they would not put Bynum's name. They try to dance around that shit. But when I
Mm-hmm.
start looking at them names, I say that motherfucker Griffin. And they've
Mm-hmm.
been in business for a long motherfucking time. And you know how many niggas go over there and buy a goddamn Chevy and probably pay a higher interest rate?
Mm-hmm.
I just had a white
Mm-hmm.
man tell me he got qualified for a brand new truck at zero interest. And we was looking at our credit, and my credit is way higher than his. And I'm looking at him and I started to say, how the fuck you got a zero interest rate? And then I said, girl, you know how the fuck he got it. So why would you ask? Because I guarantee you, if my black ass would have walked in there, I wouldn't have got no goddamn 0% interest rate.
Exactly. Exactly. See.
So yes, we got to know. But now that information was made aware, now boycott and make everybody aware. No more money. Go to the next dealer. But before you spend your money, research the dealers. That's right, Dana.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, Dana. Griffin Chevrolet in Monroe, North Carolina. They have an ancestor named Bynum Griffin that tried to kill one of our ancestors, Robert Williams. And Maurice, let me tell you something. When I read the book, I was going to stop reading because sometimes I get a little bit discouraged with YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I read all the time, and sometimes I just think, why am I doing this? Nobody cares. But I told you, as I began to read the book, I felt his presence.
Mm-hmm.
I literally felt his presence. And I don't know if he's still alive or dead. I don't know. I did not look to see if he's still alive. But all I know is that I read energy, I
Mm-hmm.
feel energy, I feel spirits. And I'm telling you, as I was reading that book, that man was right there with me. His presence was standing right there with me. And when I wanted to stop, I just kept going. And that's why you hear my voice going up, down, up, down. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I want to stop, but when I feel his presence, that's when I just get like an energy boost. And it's so crazy that you heard it.
Mm.
Sometimes I stop and start over because I get so excited when I feel his presence.
Right.
So when you hear me like crunk as fuck,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you know he right there.
Mm. Mm. Mm-mm. All right.
So there is no justice whatsoever. As Revelation gives it, she made all the world drink of the wine of her fornication. But an end is coming to evil doings. America has lived in peace so far as foreign war is concerned. She
Mm-hmm.
has destroyed other peoples and their towns and cities. She has leveled them to the ground, and she is still prepared to do the same with her great stockpile. I always wonder, why has America not suffered a bomb? She's bombed so many other countries, but I always wondered, why has America not suffered what she has put out on other nations? Like, why have we not had an atomic bomb dropped on us beside Pearl Harbor? I'm talking about right here on North American soil. Why do you think that is?
Well, because we have that separation. Because if you notice, everything starts over there in Europe. Ain't nothing going to start over here except what goes on within here. So we had that separation, and that's what kept us free from all of that. Um, Even now, if North Korea decide to launch their nukes, to come here, yeah, we'll eventually get hit if they not knocked down out the air, but they would definitely feel every bit of ours, or not ours, I would say theirs. But yeah, because we have that great divide. If that water wasn't there, that was separating us from them. Oh yeah, it would have been an issue. It would have been a big issue
Mm-hmm.
because Hitler would have came and did it himself.
Did you hear the part in the book that Robert Williams he tells us? Now, this brother was teaching, and he was giving us some good information. According to Robert Williams, he said the United States has a Minutemen militia whose job it is to kill us. Did you hear that part?
No, you said
Mm-hmm.
that the United States have a Minutemen militia that is set up to kill us.
Yes. Go, for those of you that are interested, if you go to my channel when you have time, listen to chapter 6. I just finished chapter 6 today. Maurice, if you go back and you listen to the entire video, because I maybe I'll timestamp it for you. But he said the United States has an organization of Minutemen, and they have all kind of weapons that the ordinary citizen does not have access to. And the United States government is fully aware of that. And they question the guns that like the weapons that he has. They
Mm-hmm.
question those weapons when you can go to any gun shop and buy those. But they are
Mm-hmm.
fully aware of the weapons that the Minutemen have that you can only get if you are in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and they have it and they don't question it. He said the United States government don't want the blood on their hands to slaughter us, but they do have the Minutemen whose responsibility it will be to slaughter us. That's gonna be their specialty. To when the shit go down, that's their job. Operation Kill Black People.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
some scary shit when I read that. Because he
Mm-hmm.
ain't fucking lying. You know how I know that brother ain't lying? Because remember, he was indicted. And when he was indicted, that is what they was putting in the reports.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Most
That's their
definitely.
fucking specialty to kill us. Remember, they had those police officers that was doing target practice with the papers. I forgot what
Yep.
the papers that they use in the gun range, and they was
Exactly.
using black people.
Yep.
Let me tell you, so I've been to the gun range. I can't count how many times I've been to the gun range. It's
Mm.
a silhouette of a human being.
Mm-hmm.
It's never the face of an actual black man, black woman, or black child. You'll have
Mm-hmm.
a little circle, you'll have a silhouette of a human being, but it's never the face of a black man, black woman, or black child.
Exactly. Exactly.
And if I went to a gun range and I saw that shit, I'm a chin check that motherfucker. Like, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you doing?
Yep. Mm-mm-mm.
This is really pissing me off. I'm really starting to. I have another level of. I don't. Ooh. I just have another level of emotions for white people right now.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
So she says she has enough bombs and destructive weapons to destroy all human beings on the face of the earth 3 times and still have some left. Of this she boasts, but Allah has said to me that he will destroy America. He will bring her to her knees. Humiliation. The destruction sent to ancient Babylon and recorded in the Bible is the answer to most of what he has said to me will come upon the now rich America: rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes. These weapons all belong to God. America, how do you fight an army like this? The aforementioned weapons of Allah cannot be ignored. The whole year has been a year thus far of Allah, plaguing America day and night with storms, rain, flood, killing, and destroying property. And now the coming winter, hail has been falling in some places the size of golf balls, baseballs, and footballs. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Did you,
Mm-hmm.
did you see that video that hail was falling so bad that goddamn cow was trying to find a safe place?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. I know seeing them so big that they, bust car windows, dent cars all up. One year in Tennessee, it hailed so bad, so many cars got destroyed. Insurance was going up because people was coming trying to turn their car in to get their car fixed. Mm. It is real.
Yep.
It is real.
And I also learned to just go back and touch on Negroes with guns,
Mm-hmm.
because I have a book. I have this notebook that I carry with me from time to time, and it's full of information that I've learned along the way. And the definition of racism, as a matter of fact, I have it here with me. I don't know if I can find it right quick, but I have in this book the definition of racism by Dr. Umar Johnson. And I know that a lot of people don't like him, But when he explained racism, because he's very intellectual, I don't give a damn what nobody say. Dr. Umar Johnson ain't gonna open up no goddamn school, but when it comes to his intellect, it's undeniable. He's very smart. And so this is what he wrote when it comes to racism. He said, racism is a group system of exploitation, discrimination, oppression, and bias, where one group seeks to deny all members of another group their fair share of resources, opportunities, and privileges. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
so in reading the book Negroes with Guns, I see that. I see how people were petitioning the United States Department of Justice. They were petitioning the branches of government, the levels of government. They were petitioning their local police officers and their mayors and governors, and everybody was turning a blind eye. So now it is cemented in my mind what systemic racism looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt now. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, how they work together to oppress us.
Mm-hmm.
Right, even right now today, they're still doing it.
Exactly.
And so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, earthquakes are now again to be recognized, touching America lightly. But nevertheless, they are here with all of her wealth and preachings of Christianity. She has not been a good Christian herself. As Jeremiah says, arise, get up you unto the wealthy nation that dwelleth without care, saith the Lord, which have neither gates nor bars, which dwell alone. You know, the pilgrims said they were Christian, right?
Mm.
The
Mm-hmm.
Puritans were Christians. The Klan, Christians. You got goddamn presidents and governors and mayors swearing on the fucking Bible. What does it really mean to be a good Christian? What did Miss Steagall say after she was riding around in the black neighborhood talking about open season on all coons?
Exactly.
That hoe say when them niggas was when them black folks was to kill her ass and they was begging to kill her and her husband, she said, I'm a good church going Christian. I'm a good church going Christian. You just came your white ass in the black neighborhood talking about open season on coons.
Mm-hmm.
And now these black people got your ass surrounded, about to gut your ass like a fucking fish. And you sashay your stupid ass in this man's house and say, I'm a good church going Christian.
Mm-hmm.
But you also a fucking Klansman.
That's right.
Your husband belonged to the Klan. And you put out the call to kill all black people, you bitch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Most definitely. You know, I'm actually, I was hoping that he let them kill her ass. If he wasn't going to do it, at least let somebody else go ahead and handle the business. Mm-hmm.
This corresponds to America. She lives situated between the two greatest bodies of water of the earth, the Atlantic and the Pacific, and she is very careless. She rejoices in her evil and filth as though she is self-protected from the divine hand of God. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 31 prophesies, behold, I'm against thee, O thou most proud, saith the Lord God of hosts, for thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. Allah is visiting America with great destruction, which he has to pour upon wicked America. After their mistreatment of the so-called Negro for 400 years, she desires now to deceive them and to cause them to suffer with her and share in her doom. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 6 says, my people hath been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. The white and black preachers of Christianity have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place, their native people and country. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 7 says, all that found them have devoured them. All. He say all that
Mm-hmm.
have found them have devoured them. And their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Since the white man has made the so-called Negro as wicked a person as himself now, these are the words that he speaks. They are just as evil as we. Therefore, Allah God is against them too. The so-called Negro repeats the same and says the white man is no worse than the so-called Negro. White
Mm-hmm.
man has opened all of his doors and avenues of temptation to lure the Negro in for total destruction. Again, we have a warning to leave a people with whom God is angry, as the people of ancient Babylon were warned to do. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 45 says, my people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord. All of the plagues, destructions, and judgment which Allah used to destroy the wicked and disobedient from the time of Adam until this day will be brought upon America. Then she will be burned with fire. This is the time of trouble that shall bring America into insanity. That's chapter
Mm.
47. What you think?
You know, I want to go back here to 22. Since the white man has made the so-called Negro as wicked a person as himself now, these are the words that he speaks. They are just as evil as we. Therefore, Allah God is against them too. And the so-called Negro repeats the same and says, the white man is no worse than the so-called Negro. And, you know, we've heard it all the time to be said, oh, hell, we are our own worst enemy. The hell we are. That white man is definitely your worst enemy. Definitely your worst enemy. And that they train you to be just like them. This is the reality of it. I don't know if you remember, but remember in Chicago when these three black teenagers, they quote unquote kidnapped this white retarded boy and then tortured his ass, cutting up his hair, writing on him with markers and stuff, putting, you know, turning the damn what do you call that? The lighter and burning the skin.
You say
And
some white boys did that?
no, some black children, three black teenagers, two boys and one girl.
Did it to a
A
white
white,
person or a black
a
person?
white retarded boy.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't hear
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. So they charged them with kidnapping and torture and all this. And the news media kept saying, and where did they get this from? Their parents must have taught them this. You know, going all over, it was the parents that taught them this, da 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 da. And I was like, no, it wasn't their parents who taught them this. You motherfuckers taught them this. You are the ones that taught them this. How did you teach them this? All they gotta do is turn on the news and y'all showing them what y'all did to the Iraqis over there in Abu Ghraib prison.
Mm-hmm.
They doing the same thing that they saw on TV. That y'all did with y'all quote unquote enemies, the Iraqis. Y'all tortured them, y'all mistreated them, y'all burned them, y'all sexually harassed them. And so when they saw it on TV, then they said, shit, let's try it out. This
Mm-hmm.
our enemy right here. So yeah, they burned him, they wrote on him, they
Mm-hmm.
cut up his hair. But that's the same shit you did to us. So who's the real criminal? They're only doing what they saw you do. You made this. It's just like this black fatigue that's these crackers and ignorant niggas talking about. Well, wait a minute. Who made this negative behavior? You did.
Mm-hmm.
You made our people into this. Now you have a nerve that you want to sit back and say, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. I got this black fatigue. I'm tired of this antisocial behavior. But this is a product of what you made. You're the root cause of this, not them. They're the product of what you did. And so I think it's very important that when we see our people in their negative state, that we realize that they were made that way by our most deadliest enemy.
Mm-hmm.
They made us this way. And this is why we say that we have to kill the nigger in you. Because some of our people are so happy in their niggerism. They're happy in their nigger ways. But in order for you to come out of the gravity that the white man world has over you, you have to deny your nigger ways and accept your ways that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you to come out of that and accept your ways and to become God. That's our way out, is accepting who we are naturally and become the God that we are, or we'll never escape the gravitational pull of evil that this world has on us. It's just like the rocket ship when they got to go to the moon or go to Mars or trying to go out there and circle the Earth. It got the rocket boosters to push them up, but then it has extra rockets that got to fire off to give them that extra boost to escape the gravitational pull that's down there, that's on the Earth, that's going to try to pull you back. Those extra rockets help you to get out of that, and then once you're released from that, then you go into fire. Why you got to go into fire? Because it got to be burned. See, going through the cleansing process, it ain't something that's easy. It ain't something that's fun, because you got to go the process of denying yourself what you're used to accept the ways, to accept the righteousness, because you live in a world of evil.
Mm-hmm.
That's constantly telling you to do the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. But when you accept that knowledge of self, you accept that way of being, now you're being elevated, and you gotta go through the fire. You gotta go through the gravitational pull that the evilness has of this white man's world, and being able to reject it. Once you're able to reject it, then it doesn't have no pull on you. You've escaped that gravitational pull. Now you're able to flow with the God. Now you're able to have communication, and you ain't got to pick up a phone. You ain't got to pick up a phone. You do it with your mind. You begin to being able to hear conversations that you ain't even nowhere near. We got to escape the gravitational pull that this evil world has up on us. We have to be able to do that. That's the only way we're going to escape. That's the only way. That's the only way. See, the cracker woman can't pull me. She can't pull me. I know who she is. Their enticements can't pull me. I know where I'm going, and I know what I'm going to get. So that has no attracting power. And we have to be able to be just like that. Because the enemy going to come to you and say, look here, you turn on that nigga and I'll give you any damn thing you want. What you want, nigga? You want a Cadillac? You want a Mercedes? What all you want? See, this is how the enemy turns you into himself. He comes to you offering you trinkets that ain't worth a damn. What you want to be? You want to be the big man in this world? Come on, I can make you that. You want to be senator? You want to be mayor? You want to be president? I can make you that. You want 3 Rolls Royces? I can give you that. You want money? I can print more money. But before I give you what you want, you gonna bow down, nigga, and give me what I want. What did they do to our brother in Chicago? That Mark Clark and Fred Hampton. What did they give the informer? Money, cars, so that you open up the doorway so we can kill your brother. And you took it. You took trinkets. You allowed them to kill a good man so you can have creature comforts.
Was that the Japanese guy?
No, not that one. That was the other black guy who did that. The Japanese guy, he died of natural causes because they kept his shit hidden till like maybe a few years before he died. It started to come out and people were questioning him and interviewing him and saying, hey, you this informant that was selling the Black Panther Party these weapons. This is you. Oh, no, that ain't me. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But yeah, that was you. Just like in Memphis, they had a black man who was out there taking pictures, a photographer taking pictures. FBI informant. For what? Trinkets. Thurgood Marshall. This dope no good nigga, he became an informant without them even coming to him. He went to them and was telling on black people. He went to them. And what they do? Yeah, we make you Supreme Court Justice because you's a good nigga. You my nigga. For trinkets. For status. And to hell with your people. Fuck Thurgood Marshall and the NAACP. Them bastards ain't nothing good about them.
The guy Harry Moore whose house was bombed. Thurgood Marshall used to sleep on that man's couch. Literally, he spent many a days sleeping on that man's couch. And I told you that house, I didn't know that it sat 6 feet off the ground because the area used to flood. And when the bomb went off, the picture that we showed on the last study, but the picture that people can find online, that house was on the ground. I thought the house sat low on the ground anyway, but it didn't. When they bombed the house, it leveled the ground. It leveled the house all the way to the ground. But Thurgood Marshall spent plenty of days in Harry Moore's house. But I want to ask you a question. I wrote some things down as you were talking. When you talked about where do we learn this behavior from, I remember watching a video many, many years ago. Have you ever heard of an African by the name of General Butt Naked?
No.
You never heard of General Butt Naked? Well, for those of you that have not heard of General Butt Naked, look him up. He was a warrior in Africa, and he's slaughtered many Africans. And when he and his men would go out to kill, they would be butt naked. And that's why they call him General Butt Naked. He has killed, they would go and kill babies and eat them first
Mm.
because they felt that the babies would help them to win. And I've also, and they were, white people were brutalizing our babies too and feeding them to dogs. So when you talk about where we learned it from, that's, I thought, a General Butt Naked.
Mm.
Um, Another thing, I saw a video many years ago in Africa that when they're involved in civil wars, the winning side, they sodomize when they ravage the villages,
Mm-hmm.
the soldiers will go and sodomize the men. And so I'm like, where the fuck did they get that from? The white man,
Mm-hmm.
the European.
Mm-hmm.
And also, when you talk about biscuits and trinkets, I thought about Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Kevin Hart, Eddie Murphy, and so many other black men that divorced their black wives before, they really went up in their career. And I'm about to sneeze. For me, excuse me. For
Bless you.
me, thank you. I've always felt that Hollywood or the industry would not allow a black man to remain married to a black woman. And so when you look at Michael Jordan, according to their divorce, it was irreconcilable differences. But who did he marry after Juanita? A white woman.
Mm.
Charles Barkley, a white woman. Eddie Murphy, a white woman.
Mm.
Kevin Hart. If you ever see Kevin Hart's first wife, she
Mm-hmm.
pitch black dark and beautiful. But when he was coming up in his career, Hollywood did not want to see him married to no black woman. So they gave him a very light skinned woman. I'm surprised that they allowed LeBron James to stay with his wife. I'm wondering what's going on with that because they have allowed LeBron James to stay with his wife, and that's not typical when it comes to black successful men, because white people want to have control over even who we marry and have children from. But I have a question for you. What do you think about Frederick Douglass, considering the fact that he was born a slave, he had to escape, he was brutally beaten several times? They were trying to break him several times and they did not. But what do you think about Frederick Douglass when he got his freedom? He married a white woman. What do you think
Mm-hmm.
about that?
Well, honestly, I never trusted Frederick Douglass. I believe that he was the one that dropped the bomb, that told on um, the raid on Harper's Ferry that was being planned by John Brown. Um, and so for that time, for being that period, and you actually was born into slavery, and then you go out and you marry a cracker,
Right.
right? I'm sorry, but you ain't no fucking good. I don't know how any black person could even trust it. You just no fucking good. You just betrayed your whole damn people. You did. You betrayed your whole damn people. There's no way in the world. I'm surprised they didn't kill a nigga. Because to me, that's just betrayal of the worst part. Look, it's bad for black people now to go marry these crackers. It was definitely a bad look back then when he did it. And the question would be, why? Why? Do you think that this makes you better? It makes your status grow now because now you got a white woman on your arm. See, that's sick mentality. That because I identify with white, now I'm better than what I was when I identified with black.
And I think that was his mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much know that was his mentality. Have you ever read Frederick Douglass's autobiography?
No, I refuse to read it.
I hated it. I tried to read his autobiography, but I needed like 15 goddamn dictionaries to read it.
Mm.
And I question if whether or not he actually wrote it himself. because if you read his autobiography, even though you're not, if you read his autobiography, he uses like higher or like his vocabulary was just out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like the vocabulary used in his autobiography was extremely extensive. It was not written for blacks. I'm gonna tell you that right now, because most
Mm.
black people during that time period, we could not read or write because it was against the law, right?
Right.
Very few black people were educated. So his book was not written for us. It was written for white people, for people who were educated. And that pissed me off. And after struggling trying to every time I read a few sentences, I would literally have to stop and look up the meaning of a word, which really took the fun out of reading it. It don't take all of that shit just to say what the fuck you got to say.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? And if you
Right.
really wanted to help me and free me, liberate me, school me, teach me, then write it in the way that the average motherfucking black person can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm.
just I
Mm-mm.
don't I didn't get very far with that book because my spirit was telling me it wasn't written for me. It was written for white people. And since he wrote it for white people, there was no reason for me to read the motherfucking book. Because you're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
play with me and take up my motherfucking time to read no goddamn autobiography. It don't take all that shit to put all them goddamn big ass words that most people don't fucking understand.
Mm-hmm.
Make that shit plain and say what the fuck you got to say.
Exactly.
You done
Exactly.
seen all them goddamn women get assaulted. You see light-skinned children, mulattoes running all around the goddamn plantation. The slave master is they goddamn daddy. Little girls losing their virginity to breeders. Your mama slapped around. Your daddy don't know who the fuck he is. And you take your ass and you marry a white woman
Mm-mm.
and don't see nothing wrong with that. And then write an autobiography that's not even focused on black people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Wow.
We man, this who
Mm.
the introduction of the white man was our downfall.
Sure was.
The introduction of the white man was our demise when they were introduced to us.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about them. We think that they're better than us. They not.
They are not.
They're not better than us.
Nope. Nope. They are not. Mm-mm. And I tell people, who look up to them, and I'm like, how are you gonna look up to a dog? How are you gonna do that?
Maurice, hold on. I'm sorry to disturb you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so watch this. And I thought about that. Because you got white women, and guess what? You have a lot of white men that know that their white women have sex with dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Muhammad Ali said, why would I want the white woman? I ain't getting nothing the dog ain't getting. So if you fucking with a white woman that married that would have sex with a dog, what the fuck you think you getting? Muhammad Ali say we ain't getting nothing the dog ain't getting. And you know he had a flair about himself in a way with words.
Exactly.
He say you so that means that when I saw that video, somebody showed him something. So he had to have seen it with his eyes, or
Exactly.
somebody showed him a picture of a video of what the white women was doing with the goddamn dog. He gets on the damn interview and say, we ain't getting nothing the dog ain't getting. And them goddamn white people just looked at him like, damn, champ, you know that? You know?
Mm-hmm.
They have sex with dogs.
Yes, they do.
They have white women have sex with dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And they be married women having
Mm-hmm.
sex with dogs.
Yep. Yep. Mm-mm. They sure do. Hell, when I was in Germany on TDY, and Soldier was driving me around, and he was like, "Oh shit, there's some sheep." He pulls over, gets out the car, and said, "I'll be right back." He
Uh-uh.
goes over there and start having sex with the damn sheep.
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait. You better start this goddamn story over again. Start it over.
Yeah. And I was over in Germany, TDY, temporary duty.
Uh-huh.
And soldier was driving me around, and he trying to be cool and all this, la la la. He see the sheep out there. He pulls over and say, "Well, he gonna go grab him a sheep." So he gets out the car and runs over there and start having sex with a sheep.
A white soldier,
Yes.
and you stood there and watched it.
I kept my ass in that car, and he went over there, and I saw him. Yeah. And so when he get back in the car, I said, "Well, why would you do that?" And he said, "Oh, it's over here in Germany. This shit is allowed. You ain't got to worry about it." He's like, "Hell, that pussy feel just like a woman's." I said, "Wow, I done learned something new about y'all."
But no, I don't know why. Because when you look at a lot of Greco-Roman artifacts,
Mm-hmm.
they were drawing pictures of them engaging in sexual acts with animals. That's a part of their culture.
Mm.
You've never seen those vases and jars and shit like that where they was fucking them animals in all different kind of positions?
No.
Yes, that's a part of
Mm-mm.
their culture. And for you to tell me that, it just shows how they pass that shit along, just pass it down from generation to generation, and they think that it is okay. For him to do that, knowing that you was in the car and have no problems with it, that really says a lot about who these people are.
Exactly.
He just pulled his pants up and got back in the car like nothing happened, huh?
Like nothing happened.
And they do that shit in South America too.
Are you
I
serious?
told you they have sex with donkeys in South America on one of the studies, remember?
Mm.
They be children. They start having sex with donkeys as children. The children do it. The male children do it. The
Mm.
adults do it. If they can't find a woman, or if they just want a little quick pleasure, like the soldier that you were just talking about, they engage with donkeys. That is a part of European culture. They have
Mm.
sex with orangutan, dogs, donkeys, sheep.
Mm.
That's just what they do. Children.
Mm.
And the question is, like you stated previously, where do we get this shit from?
Mm. Mm.
Where did we get this behavior from?
Mm.
And why do we not think that we need to separate ourselves from these people to save ourselves and to save our children?
Exactly. Exactly. Mm.
Chapter 48. So when he got back in the car, what did you say? Nothing?
Yeah, after he told me it's just like a woman's, and I'm just like, wow, he's a sick fuck. You are sick. And he just smiled, laughing, and took back off. He said, "It's natural. It's okay over here. It's okay. It's what everybody does." I was like, wow. And when I got back to the base and I asked the black NCO, and he's like, "Yeah, bro, that's what these crackers do over here. So you got to be careful. You got to watch them. Don't. If they getting drunk, make sure you got a way out and you ain't by yourself, because they turn into who they really are when they drunk."
That's not even human.
Mm-mm.
That's not human to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be 100% human being and do something like that.
Mm-mm.
That's that animal nature within them that draws them
Mm-hmm.
to animals.
Mm-hmm.
That's the animalistic nature in them that draws them to these animals.
Yep. Mm-mm.
Whew, the dreadful times of America, chapter 48. America, and especially North America, has entered into the time that was predicted by Moses and the prophets between him and Jesus. For the record, you know how I don't believe in the historical Jesus ever existing, but I am very objective when I read. but it doesn't mean that I believe that Jesus ever existed. I just want to put that on the table. In the 24th chapter of Matthew, there is a prophecy made by Jesus of the present time of America without mentioning her name. He referred to the country as a world because this part of the earth is referred to in many places by prophets and by Jesus himself as a wilderness. The name America is not yet 500 years old, so the prophets referred to it as a wilderness in their prophecy now. That word wilderness, I can definitely support that because in my historical accounts, when I read about the conquistadors that came to America, when they came to America, it was a vast wilderness, trees as far as the eye could see. They say birds used to blanket the sky. Millions of bison was, traversing through the interior of America. Fish in abundance, animals in abundance, because Native Americans only used what they needed.
Right.
And in Europe, deforestation was a major problem. Old Europe was built using wood. Wood was everywhere. Wood does not last.
Mm.
And so they were suffering from deforestation in the worst way. So when they came to America and had access to all the natural resources, one of the first things that they would do was to cut down trees to build their homes, to build their ships, to send back to Europe so that they
Mm.
could, do renovations. So it definitely was a wilderness. I can definitely say that. Animals in abundance as far as the eye could see, clear sky, beautiful water. And as soon as they came here, they began to destroy the ecosystem and natural habitats to the extent that our coral reefs are in jeopardy of being destroyed right now today because of their fucking sunscreen being in areas where they do not belong.
Mm.
The name America is not yet 500 years old. And he says, so the prophets referred to it as a wilderness in their prophecy. It is terrible. I use the word terrible because it is not a thing that can be described as something mild or something that is moving slowly, nor something that can be recognized as easily by the common people. It is clear to all who see that America has reached the stage about which she always has been warned. She always has wanted to keep it a secret because of her so called Negro slaves. She never desired for the slave to know too much of what was in store for her because of her enslaving and mistreating her slaves. She has reared them for the past 400 years and she knows them. She knows how they think and how they react to her teachings. And she knows their fear of her. She knows her slaves, but the slaves do not know America, their slave master. That's why I told you this reading is right where we want to be. That's how we
Mm.
know that we are blessed of Allah because America knows us. They know us very
Mhm.
well. They
Yeah.
know how we think. They know what makes us tick. They know how to distract us. They study us. And so
Mm.
they know they just know us.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take much to sideline us.
Mm-hmm.
I see some of the stuff I see on social media with black men. I'm embarrassed, specifically black men, because I really believe if black men got their shit together, black women will fall their ass in line. They will have no other choice.
Right.
And I am so sick of seeing black men on social media dancing and two-stepping and shit. Black men on social media now are gossiping about hot topics while you
Mm.
got white men talking about World War III.
Mm. Mm.
That's embarrassing.
Very.
And I'm not going to call these people's name because I do respect them. I'm not going to say that they are my master teachers, but they are definitely teachers who have given me a lot of insight as I go through my spiritual elevation. They just had an event. I'm not even going to say what city or what state. And it's just a bunch of foolishness, a bunch of YouTube motherfuckers meeting up. And I'm like, we talking about motherfuckers going to war. People don't even have guns and ammunition and food stored up. And y'all motherfuckers having a YouTube meet and greet.
Mm, mm.
That's
Wow.
the kind of shit that, you know, that really pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got a lot of people on YouTube talking about Ibrahim Traore, but they're not trying to be like Ibrahim Traore.
Exactly.
All they doing is talking about what the fuck he doing. They not trying to be like him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's all. And I wish they would just leave our brother name out their fucking mouth, because his name should not even be in their mouth. If our men over here not gonna follow in his footsteps, I'm gonna be honest. I just don't call his name. Leave that
Mm-hmm.
motherfucking man alone. He's
Mm-hmm.
a goddamn target in the worst way. In the worst way.
Exactly. Exactly.
He's really trying to shake and move and do things for his nation. And the last thing he need is a bunch of fluff motherfuckers just talking about him. He need help.
Mhm.
We need to be following his footsteps right here in this country. And we two-stepping and shaking fans and shit. It's just dumb shit.
Exactly.
But anyway,
And
hmm?
it's very interesting because, Thomas Sankara, who was the first to overthrow that government and, retake it for the people. Do you know how that revolution got started?
No, tell me.
They were passing around tapes of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure was.
Oh my
They were
God.
passing his tapes around to the people up there in the military chain, passing it around. And next thing you know, Thomas was like, "All right, we're gonna do this shit."
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they
Yep.
killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Kill
Yep.
Sankara, kill Lumumba, kill so
Mm-hmm.
many of our African brothers just because we want our own. We want our own independence. We want to shake their ass off our backs and be free of them once again.
Exactly.
You know, when they tortured Lumumba, they poured acid all over him. The only thing the family got back recently was a goddamn tooth.
What?
Yeah, that's all they got back from Lumumba. They tortured our brother. They tortured him, and they poured acid all over him. And they allegedly say the only thing that was left over was a tooth, and they recently returned that back to Africa, to
Mm,
the
mm,
Congo, right?
mm-hmm. Yep.
Congo been through hell.
Yep. Yep. Mm.
Congo been through hell.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
Jeez.
they've done it all over the world,
Mm.
all over the world.
Mm.
So you wanted to say something else about Farrakhan?
Yeah, and knowing of course that the minister was taught by the messenger, and it's like this message is so powerful, it's so strong. If we believe in it, it can change our whole environment. It can change our existence. And it's like, when I got out the military and I was telling people in the nation how I got out, their response to me was, God takes care of fools and babies. Well, they were calling me a fool.
Right,
But I'm listening to what Farrakhan said.
right,
So I'm doing what he said. And I'm successful. But you're
right,
calling me a fool. When in reality, you should be doing what I'm doing.
right,
You should be challenging systems and overturning them. But you sitting back calling me a fool and ain't got nothing accomplished. Yeah, we better wake up. We
yep.
really better wake the hell up.
That's what Robert Williams said. He say,
Mm,
man, fuck that. He went and sent an application, not shit, fuck application to the National Rifle Association, but I'm just telling you what he said. He said, but when he fucking realized, because first of all, he was in the military. His ass went out there to fight. I think it was the Vietnam War. So now he been trained to kill.
Right.
You've been trained to kill. And you realize, damn, I'm killing the wrong person. So when he came back to America with that soldier mentality, knowing how to use weapons, his bright light turned on. He got some weapons and he was like, fuck that, I'm using it. And one thing Robert Williams said, those crackers did not fuck with me. They did not fuck with nobody in my group. Because they knew it was going to be bloodshed. So they would go bully the passive niggas. They would go bully the non-violent niggas. He said, but when they came to me and my group, they did not fuck with me. That's the same thing the professor was talking about at the anti-Juneteenth lecture. When the Klan used to ride, he said black people used to be sitting on their porch with their rifles. Imagine that for a minute. In the Deep South, black people, Jim Crow, segregation, lynchings, murders, colored here, white over there, and the Klan is fucking riding tonight. And you on your porch with your goddamn gun, and they know to fucking pass your house. They cowards. They knew the black people that had guns, and they would literally ride past your fucking house to go and terrorize the passive nigga, the scared nigga, the non-violent nigga, the turn the cheek nigga.
Yeah.
But the niggas that they knew that would shed blood, they did not fuck with you.
That's right. That's right.
I've heard, I'm sorry, let me tell you, once you open your mind up to information, and like I told you, people, well, where you get that from? And where you get that from? I hated to hear that. And you know who I'm talking about. The information is all around us.
Right.
You read it in books. You read autobiographies. You go to lectures. You watch documentaries. And it's very refreshing to know that there were men and women right here in America that was not afraid to kill. That's something we have to be unafraid to kill. Every black man and woman, go hunting.
Exactly.
Go hunting. If you've never killed something, I would strongly suggest that you go hunting. Start with hunting animals. Because I'm telling you, if you could kill an animal, you could kill a human being.
That's right.
Once you get that fear out of you, it's a wrap.
That's right.
A wrap. Get that fear out.
Yep. It sure is. It sure is. You know, it's like the Muslims up north wasn't no fucking joke. When they understood the white man was the devil and the black man is God, the fear for white people went out the goddamn door. I'm gonna tell you, these brothers up here up in Philly, they became bank robbers and everything now. Because they ain't had no fucking fear, nothing. So they was robbing banks and doing all kind of shit. And, you know, the messenger had to put a stop to it. But that's the thing, when you remove that fear, you on the open highway. You on the open highway. Come as you may, bring it. You on the open highway. And you will see how much the enemy actually fears you. You'll see it. face to face. You'll see it.
Hmm. I was
We got to get
talking.
rid of fear.
Oh, I'm sorry. What you say?
No, I was just saying we got to get rid of that fear.
I was talking to. I had an electrician come out to my house yesterday, and he was looking at my plant. He said, "Oh, this is so nice. I really like this." I was like, "Thank you." I say, "But I'm fighting damn iguanas." He said, "Well,
Mm,
you can go to the store and get some little mothballs and get this and that." I say, "Child, please look at this rifle right here." I say, "This good right here." And he was
mm-hmm.
just looking at me like, "You kill them?" I say, "Dead as fuck, dead as fuck." I ain't playing with
Mm-mm-mm.
no goddamn moth. I ain't trying to scare you away. I'm trying to take the breath out your ass.
Exactly.
But I had to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, okay, you're not gonna stop fucking with me. You keep messing with my plants. And
Mm-hmm.
so now I'm gonna have to send you to iguana heaven.
Exactly.
And at first I was like, damn, this is an innocent iguana. Then I was like, no, it's not. It's fucking up your flowers. And it was on
Mm-mm-mm.
and popping. And ever since then, it really like took a lot of fear out of me that I had towards death that I didn't even know was there.
Mm.
So our people really gonna have to go hunting
Mm-hmm.
and going to the gun range. Because when I go
Exactly.
to the gun range, them white people, they be having their little children there. Them
Mm-mm-mm.
children be 9, 10 years old in the goddamn gun range bussing.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the guy, I said, y'all allow children here? He said, as long as they can see over the counter, they're welcome.
Yep.
And they be having little children out there firing, and our
Mm-hmm.
children playing video games and dumb shit. And those children are learning how to shoot weapons.
Exactly. Exactly.
We got to get it together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember the day when I brung all mine in damn gun range and said, "Look here, y'all gonna learn how to shoot today." And boy, I tell you, they got that gun in their hand and they pow, pow, pow. At first they was a little nervous, but they got used to pulling that trigger. Then it was like, yeah, okay, Pop, we understand what you're talking about now. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we got to open that door and let them experience that. Because
Mm-hmm.
them white crackers, them children are ready.
They
You
ready.
know how to point, shoot, and don't have a care about it.
That's right.
So we got to get ours that same way. We got to get ours that same way. So trust and believe. They'll pick up that gun and they'll handle business.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they will handle business. And I was a little worried about freedom, because at that time, she's 16 now, but she was young, but she could see over the thing. And when the gun is shooting off, boom, 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 you can see her jumping. Every time she heard the noise. But then when she got used to it,
Uh-huh.
she was squared away.
Yep.
She
It's
was
it's because
squared
it's so
away.
loud.
Mm-hmm.
It's very alarming and scary the first time, but it's just repetition.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, really, it's just repetition. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to get used to it and not be afraid to learn something new
Exactly.
because we are just not prepared. We're just not
Exactly.
prepared. But a lot
Mm-hmm.
of us are. A lot of us are. I will say, thanks to Robert
Mm-hmm.
Williams, he opened my eyes to some things. Black people was turned up ready.
Mm-hmm.
And if that was then, I could only imagine today.
Mm-hmm.
Because today the Steagles would not have left alive.
No. No.
Not today.
Mm-mm.
Not today. It's
Nope.
a new day, like Elijah Muhammad said. It's a new day and a new dawn.
Mm-hmm.
A new day and a new dawn.
Yep.
So
Mm.
he says, we on paragraph 6, are we?
Yes. The great and dreadful. Mm-hmm.
The great, dreadful, and awful day is now in the doors and windows of America and of the church, the religion of America. As long as Christianity worked, America thought she was safe because it is one of the most deceiving and outright misleading religions of the world. Allah taught me that if carefully examined, everything in the religion of Christianity is designed to make a slave out of Black people. If Christianity was in a wet rag and wrung out, every drop could write slavery for the Black man. The world knows this. The world knows this now, but the spiritually blinded, deaf, and dumb American so called Negroes to who I am calling and appealing to reason. I am calling them to reason with me on the truth and their own salvation that is now in truth of self and kind and of the enemy of self. There will not be an end to the clashes between black and white America and throughout the world until wrong, evil, murdering, deceiving, and robbing the poor black man of the earth is destroyed and righteousness and justice are practiced. That is very interesting. That's very
Mm.
interesting. Number one, I want to go back to paragraph number 7.
Okay.
The afterthoughts that we did for the last study, when I went to the anti-Juneteenth lecture, the professor said the same thing you said. And I just smiled. I literally just smiled. And I was like, if Maurice was here,
Mm-hmm.
because he said the most oppressive institution for black liberation was the church.
Mm-hmm.
He said pretty much every institution and industry was involved in that oppression because it's just, racism is systemic. Racism is systemic. We know that. He said, but the biggest oppressor of our people was the church.
Mm-hmm.
He said the church had a lot to do with it.
Yep.
And so Elijah Muhammad said there will not be an end to the clashes between black and white people. We ain't gonna overcome.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't gonna be no holding hands with little black girls and little white boys. It's not gonna happen
Yep.
because there's too much wrong being taking place, too much evil, too much killing, too much lying, and too much robbing of the poor black man on earth.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "This is the day of God Almighty to set up justice and equality throughout the earth. He is to free the black man, the American so-called Negro, from his deceitful, evil, and murderous enemies. America wishes to oppose Allah in this work of bringing justice and freedom to her once slaves, but this is just what Allah wants. He wants America to attack him, to get the fight started, and to bring his judgment against her with the fullness of his strength and power." That kind of went over my head. Let me read that. He said, America wishes to oppose Allah in this work of bringing justice and freedom to her once slaves. But this is just what Allah wants. He wants America to attack him, to get the fight started, and to bring his judgment against her with the full. So what would America have to do to attack Allah?
To kill the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Oh, you mean in this time period in which he's talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because they wanted to kill Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That made Why not? Shit.
Yep.
With all of that, man, Elijah Muhammad had thousands of followers,
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Yep.
thousands of acres of land, and his people were pro self-defense and do it for
Mm-hmm.
self.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what about Minister Louis Farrakhan?
Oh yeah, it goes to him too. It
But they
goes.
tried to kill him with the cancer.
They tried to, but it didn't work. It didn't. It did not work. They tried, but it didn't work. And I'm quite sure whoever was the ones that did the deed got punished for it. I'm quite sure of, because to get that close to the minister, that means you were somebody in that particular party.
In somebody black, you mean, in his
Oh
circle?
yeah, yeah.
And they never figured out who did it.
Oh no, I'm quite sure they figured it out by now.
You
I'm
think
quite
so?
sure they figured that out. Huh?
You think so?
Oh yeah.
The
Most,
Nation of Islam, you say the Nation of Islam probably figured out who did it?
oh yeah.
So why did they say anything?
I mean, they're not going to publicize who did it, but they're
Uh-huh.
going to handle the business. So trust and believe whoever did it ain't walking around no longer. They ain't walking around no longer. And this would not, we have caught people that coming in posing as a believer, and then next thing you know, we find out they the goddamn informant.
Mm.
We've caught some. Some even came in and was, doing the thing, but got under the teachings and was like, "Fuck, hey, the FBI sent me here," and
Yeah.
they would confess. You know. So yeah, I mean, even during the time with the messenger said, "How can we make progress when we're honeycombed with liars and thieves and snitches?" And so, he knew that some of those around him were plants from the FBI.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Abbas Rasul, his national secretary, was an FBI agent, an FBI paid informant. Mm-hmm.
There was one particular informant in the Black Panther Party who had a lot to do with bringing down the Panthers. I forgot his name, but he when he was found out, he ran into the traffic and killed himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the one who did the deed to Fred Hampton.
Hold on, his name is, I just found it, Richard Ioko or something like that.
No, that's the Japanese guy.
But isn't Richard Aoki the one that ran into traffic and committed
No,
unalived himself?
no, not him. He died of natural causes. The
Oh,
guy that you talking about that ran into traffic is the one who got Fred Hampton killed, who
yep.
put the sleeping pills in his water and drew the diagram of the apartment and gave it to the people. That's the one who ran into traffic and got himself killed.
What make you think? What do you think made him run into traffic to unalive himself?
I think the guilt eventually just got to him. I mean, even for the brother who actually played the part, I forget his name. I think it's Stanfield or something like that. But he even admitted, I had to go to counseling after playing that role
Mm-hmm.
because it was a heavy role. You getting your brother killed, who
Mm-hmm.
was a good man. You're
Yes.
getting him killed, and he said it fucked with his mind so much he had to seek counseling. It messed with his mind so much. So yeah, I could see him finally killing himself. He should have been dead long before that. Should have been dead way. I think he did that in like 96. He should have been dead way long before that. And that's a problem, that you find out who the betrayer is, and you don't move to get him killed. It was the right of the Black Panther Party to hunt that nigga down and kill him. That's what they were supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
and they did not. And they did not, but they were supposed to do it. But hell, they had so many FBI informants working with them too that they didn't even know each other. When he was at a meeting, this snitch that got Fred killed, he met another one that was there and figured out, oh shit, you're an informant just like me.
Mm-hmm.
So those the FBI knows they can't send white folks up in there. They gotta flip us over, turn us over, rub us around, and throw us into there so that we can betray one another, so we can set it up to have each other killed. See, that's how, when I said that the Black Panthers were integrationalists, and people got upset that I said that, but the fact of the matter is, that's what they were. They believed in integration. They just wanted everybody to be treated equally. All
Mm-hmm.
power to all people. Black power, white power, red power, brown power, power to the people.
Mm-hmm.
They were not a black organization that's set up just for black folks. If you white, you Japanese, you Chinese, they were passing out Mao's red book. And Mao wasn't no black guy. So they're studying Mao. Of course they're going to have Asians amongst them. Of course they're going to be cool with white folks amongst them. power to the people. They were integrationists. They wanted integration. And that's the honest to goodness truth. And that flies in the face of what we perceived the Black Panthers to be about. We perceived them to be about Black empowerment, Black separation. No, they weren't against, they were not for separation. They were for integration, and they wanted everybody to be treated properly, everybody treated correctly. And so we have to put all of that in its proper way. And like Sean said, that he heard that there was more surveillance on Elijah Muhammad than Malcolm X. And the surveillance continued after Malcolm's death. And that is 1,000% correct.
Mm-hmm.
There was way more surveillance on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad than Malcolm X. And even when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad went away, just like when Master Farad Muhammad went away, what did they do? Rushed in, try to steal all the lessons, get up all the books and everything,
Mm-hmm.
so that you don't have what the teachers had. No, they were not successful.
But that's what they always do. They destroy our museums, our libraries, our books. They've done that in Kemet. They've done it in Central South America. They distort and corrupt our books here right in America. They don't want us to get down to the truth. They just don't want us to get down to the truth. But you know what I wanted to say? The reality is, when foreigners come to this country, they separate themselves from us. Nobody has to tell them to separate themselves from us. They do it. The Jews don't socialize with us.
No.
Africans don't socialize with us. Hispanics don't socialize with us. Everybody goes to their separate community. They have their Chinatown, their little Germantown. The Jews have their own little thing in America. Hispanics stay to themselves. They don't need us for anything. But we go out and branch out, and we support everybody, and they don't support us. So the conversation about separating ourselves from these people, it should be a no-brainer. But unfortunately, it is not. These people do not come and immerse themselves in Black culture and the Black community. They simply do not do it. They get their own. They have their own little shopping stores where they go buy their own little cultural food. They open their own restaurants. They all congregate in the same community. They separate themselves from us. Well, it's been how many years, and Elijah Muhammad been saying for us to separate, and we still won't do it. They can't survive without us. They say we put trillions of dollars into this economy of frivolous things that we do not need.
Exactly.
We buy all kind of shit that we don't need. I was in Bass Pro the other day, and I was just looking around Bass Pro. I was like, look at all this consumption. They had a big ass clearance section that was so huge. I'm like, because nobody is really buying this shit. Ain't nobody really buying this shit to have a clearance section this big. We're just consumers for all the wrong reasons. And if we put that money together, Lord knows what would happen.
Exactly. America would not be America no more if we stopped spending. That's why, if you can remember, when George Bush was president and he gave out that, I believe it was like $600 check to everybody, and he said, do not put it in the bank. Do not deposit it and save it. Take it and go spend. We need you to spend it. Go and spend it. Spend it on buy anything that you spend it. Why? Because the economy is built on people buying things. And if ain't nobody buying nothing, nothing ain't moving, then you got a big problem.
We could shut this thing down in a few days
Exactly.
if we just pull out of every European holiday on the calendar.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Stop giving it to the church.
Exactly.
Keep it, save it, invest it
Mm-hmm.
in yourself, in your family, in your community.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Yep.
can have our own grocery stores and little supermarkets that we shop in. Because every corner store in my community is not owned by a black person.
Mm-hmm.
We don't own the corner store.
Mm-hmm.
We don't.
Nope. Nope.
You
And
can't even do it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. You finish first.
Even something as simple as a little mom and pop coffee shop where you can go get your coffee and donuts, that's corporate too.
Mm-hmm.
And this goddamn Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks coffee, it just tastes like hot brown water. Do you
Mm-hmm.
drink coffee?
Nope.
I drink coffee and I stopped doing Dunkin' Donuts. I never did Starbucks, but I
Mm-hmm.
stopped doing Dunkin' Donuts because a cup of coffee now is like $3.50 for a large, and it's hot brown water. It's tasteless.
Mm. Wow.
Tasteless, hot brown water. And if you buy anything like a sandwich or a muffin or a donut, too much sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't even like we need little mom and pop coffee shops, coffee, donut, cakes and pies and stuff like that. Get your little croissant and omelet on the way to work. I would love to
Mm-hmm.
see that.
Most definitely. And like I had told you, I think it was maybe last week or sometime, that, with these Chinese stores in our community, that, once slavery was over and we had our places where we lived, they came with their stores into our community.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were shopping with them at their stores, because in the white stores, a lot of them wouldn't even allow us to come in. So we went to the Chinese store. And so this history of them riding our backs for economic gain has been with us and them. We've been having this relationship since emancipation. And it ain't changed. It's still the same fucking shit to this very day. And it definitely needs to change.
But watch this. I tell people, I say, do a test. When I talk to them about Chinese people, see, every demographic of people can come into our community, set up shop, and we patronize these people. But if we try it, they're not going to patronize us. They would not support our business. They would not buy anything from us. And I
Mm-hmm.
tell people, go into a Chinese supermarket, restaurant, or nail salon with a box of M&Ms, and go to the workers and employees and ask them to buy a bag of M&Ms. I said, I guarantee you they won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
They do not shop with us.
Nope.
And they
Nope.
talk about us like dogs.
Mm-hmm.
They don't, a lot of them don't even have licenses and they're illegal. They're not even supposed to be in the country. They
Mm-hmm.
do not. Do you remember? Did you hear his name is Claude Anderson, Professor, what is it, Dr. or Professor Claude
Dr.
Anderson? I
Claude
forget.
Anderson.
Yes, he said there was a man who went to some Chinese people and he told them, look, excuse me, he said, for this business that you have here, I can cut your price by 15 to 20% with wholesale prices. And the Chinese people told him, no, thank you. He
Mm-hmm.
said, but you in business, right? And they said, yes. He said, you want to save money because that's going to increase your profits, right? And they said, yes. And the black man said, well, I can cut your prices for your wholesale items down 15 to 20%. And the Chinese people told him, sir, we don't buy from anybody else but our own.
Mm.
They were willing to pay more to
Mm-hmm.
spend their money with their own kind.
Exactly.
They didn't give a fuck about no 15, 20% discount.
Mm-mm.
You a nigga.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna feed your children.
Yep.
I'm not gonna help them go to college.
Mm-mm.
I ain't putting no goddamn gas in your car and food in your refrigerator.
Exactly.
I'm gonna buy from my own, even if that means I pay a little bit more. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows they don't like us.
Right.
Everybody knows that. But we still walk our ass in a restaurant and buy their food. That's not even real food.
Mm-hmm.
That shit, man, that shit them Chinese people serving is straight trash. It's not even supposed to be in the human body. And our people go to their restaurants and buy food. I've never seen a Chinese person, they're not going to Bubba's barbecue.
No, they're not.
They're not going to Bubba's
Mm-mm.
barbecue. I've never
Nope.
seen a Chinese man sit in the black barber shop and get his hair done.
Nope.
And we
Yeah.
keep going into that. And now with immigration, they're going into the community, pulling out 15, 20, 25 illegal Chinese at a time. These people are not even supposed to be in the country, and they sitting up in this country in business, getting our money with no fucking licensing
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and talking about us in their goddamn language.
Exactly.
And we still patronizing these people and supporting them. That is sickening to me.
Yep.
It's sickening.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
So Elijah Muhammad said, America wishes to, yeah, I read that. So America is bringing about political gloom. Her politicians are not able to carve out a future for America. The plan of deceiving the so-called Negro politicians to work against their own freedom, justice, and equality that Allah has brought to them is making the so-called Negroes in high offices become the enemy of his own people's freedom, justice, and equality. Such offices are held out as a bribe to get black politicians to work against the spread of the truth of their salvation. They are happy, and their boss knows that they are, to have a place near him in such offices just for the purpose of trying to oppose Allah and his messenger in freeing the poor black man who was in the mud. This is causing the political confusion and complete destruction of the house divided against itself. I am
Mm.
asking in the name of Allah that the American government agree on the separation of her once slaves and their master. Of course, Allah is sufficient. We want a home on this earth we can call our own. We don't want to be slaves anymore to white people. We do not want to be free Uncle Toms for white people. We want to do something for self and go for self. However, America, with her blind, deaf, and dumb politicians and clergy class of the so-called Negroes, will bring a swift destruction upon their heads, along with the doom that is inevitable against the enemy. It is not 20 years in the future, nor 15 years. Let no one deceive you. It is here at our doors now. The dreadful plagues and confusion of America are beginning to boil. Their fuel making it boil will not cease until it is boiled down to the last of the dregs. The present promise of a better future that America is making to the so-called Negroes will prove to be false. All of her false promises to the American so-called Negroes will be short-lived by both because the time of her doom has approached. America would have to do a miraculous thing of justice to turn it back. A fantastic show of tempting the Negro to filth and evil will not work. It takes justice to work. To postpone the dreadful days of America, America's loss of world friendship is speeding her doom. And that is chapter 48.
You know, when we look at the Kerner Commission, and the Kerner Commission talked about how to make this special effort that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was talking about, make it a reality. So was the report on the Negro family, talking about America must make this special effort to help the Black people to be truly 100% equal in the society. And it said, if it is not done before they get to 20 million, it will never happen. It is never going to change. It's going to be the way it is now from this point on to the end of the world. It's never going to change. Well, of course, we're over 20 million now. And you can see that they never gave us a square deal. They never took their own professor's advice to say, hey, we need to do A, B, C, D, and E so that we can fix this. They didn't do it. They didn't want to do it because they hated us more. That thing in them, for them to hate us, was greater than the will to preserve their own damn country. So this thought about us being, on the square deal, it ain't never happened. It ain't never going to be happen. They never want to be your brother. They never want to be your friend. They want to keep you in a subservient position for the rest of your days, your children's days, and your great, great, great grandchildren's days. And this is the reality that we have to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yep. It's when I just think of the things they've done to us, it just gets a little bit overwhelming. Like, I remember I had this dog, and this dog, you got some breeds, they have these special personalities that I really just wasn't prepared for. And this dog had a mind of his own. He ruled. It was a Yorkie. And he just wanted to be in control over everybody. And out of nowhere, he was doing his business in the house. And he was trained not to do that. But he was mad. I don't know what he was mad at, but he just started going in the house, and I started like tapping him, like just popping him or whatever, letting him know, this not right.
Right.
And the more I popped him, the more he did it. And I remember one day I got tired of popping him for going in the house. And I went to beat that dog ass. Do you know that dog fought me? We was in there fighting like two niggas on the street.
What?
That dog jumped in my chest and I jumped in his chest, and we was going at it like we didn't even know each other. And let me tell you something. I opened up that door and that dog left and never came back. Why am I saying this? Because even a dog knows to defend himself.
Right.
Even an ant will defend itself. Bees come together and defend themselves and protect one another. What is our problem? How do you see a woman be assaulted on a slave plantation and you got black slave men around who don't go and handle that shit right then and there?
Exactly.
Like, when is enough gonna be enough? When is enough? And I hate to see these slave movies because it really makes us look bad. It really just makes us look bad. Like, take that same goddamn, like I told you with the Amistad, the same weapons that was on the Amistad that the white men was going to give to those slaves to work on the plantation. They took those weapons and killed those slave traders. Like, we're not using this for no damn sugarcane plantation. We're gonna use these weapons, all right, but it won't be on a sugarcane plantation. And they took those weapons and they slayed the slave trader and fought for their freedom.
Exactly.
You gotta use what they give you back on them to be free. So
exactly.
Chapter 49, Love Before the Storm. I am afraid for you that you will receive what the people before you did receive. Allah is very angry with America and the technology that she uses on the dead to keep them dead. You're very disappointing to Allah and to the original black man who knows himself. a very few, of course. The false show of a glorious future that the wicked is putting on is at hand. We must remember Daniel's prophecy that at the end of the war, desolations are determined. But before this happens, Allah will bless the people with a good time. And he did as he did the people of the past, who wronged themselves and who did not pay attention to the prophet's warnings among them. Let me read that again. But before this happens, Allah will bless the people with a good time, as he did the people of the past who wronged themselves and who did not pay attention to the prophet's warning among them. Allah destroyed them. They thought that they were fooling Allah, but Allah surprised them. He made the people rejoice for a short time with a show of great prosperity, and at the height of their great prosperity, suddenly he destroyed them. This is the merciful law that Allah has put in nature. Allah lets a dying person rally before the end. America is going to do the same. America will rally, and people will think that she is going to have a great future, and then the end will come in that kind of time. America's end will not come while she is going around with her head hanging down and with her heart aching and failing because of the things that are coming on her nation. No, she will be made to enjoy good times. The stock market going up, lots of shares being sold. This makes any man think that everything is all right. But this is only the lull before the storm. And the Bible warns America of what happened before her. Ancient Babylon enjoyed a fulfilling position at her time, but King Darius came against her at the time of her full enjoyment of wealth, drunkenness, and her laughing at the slaves that she had made of Israel. King Darius came with his army and overcame the sleeping guards who were sleeping on the security of their life. The Bible prophesies that the enemy will say, "Come, let us go up and destroy her whose city is not fenced in." And they will come from afar, they that come at noonday, or they may come at rising in the morning or in the afternoon. But nevertheless, they will come at a time that you thought not. I'm thinking sleeper cells, the sleeper cells for paragraph 8. What you think?
Most definitely.
Because you know America is definitely, they're trying to, man, they going around wrestling up all these goddamn Iranian people.
Mm-hmm.
They and Iran, they are executing the Israelis who have been in their jails and prisons. They
Mm-hmm.
suspect of being terrorists. They
Yep.
hanging them motherfuckers. They like, fuck you, bye.
Mm-hmm. They sure are.
They are hanging. Man, they went in that goddamn jail and pulled out them Israelis that's been in there for years, and they hung like 3 or 4 of them recently.
Mm-hmm.
And there, now America is running around wrestling up Iranians to do what it is that they have to do. But guess what? When Elijah Muhammad said, "Come, let us go up and destroy her whose city is not fenced in," that's open border.
That sure is.
That's open border. And
Yep.
it was the perfect time for them to come unvetted and otherwise
Mm-hmm.
inadmissible, and they just walking around America until it's time. When I was in
Mm-hmm.
Bass Pro yesterday and I was looking around, just waiting my turn, I was at the gun counter.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never go that shit again. Man, fuck Bass Pro. I hate them. I'm never going back there again. They too slow and that shit too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But there was some girls in there with their hijab on. I ain't gonna lie, I got the fuck from around now. Maurice, I got the fuck from around now. Cause I was like, I don't know.
Mm.
And I hate to do that to them because I respect Islam, but fuck that. Cause it's open season.
Exactly.
We don't know when and we don't know
Exactly.
where, but we know that they're here
Mm-hmm.
and they're waiting for the call.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think that sleeper cells have not activated themselves as of yet, especially with everything that took place in Palestine?
because I don't think that it would be. I don't think that they're thinking the time is right. I
When
would
is the goddamn time gonna be right with all them people they killed?
because they have to look at this part. I'm assuming that they are looking at it this way. How can we hit the most damage at the proper time? Because you realize that surveillance is everywhere.
Uh-huh.
So you want to be able to hit, and for some who didn't come there to die but come to do what they had to do and get the fuck out, they want
Uh-huh.
to hit and move on. And the perfect time would be when America is busy on the outside of the country trying to deal with some other shit. They got resources going out of the country. You got resources going out, you got soldiers going out. Oh, then you a little weaker on the inside. And then that would be the perfect time to hit them, because you got to hit them, and you got to hit them more than once. You got to hit them more than once. You got to bomb, 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 so that it's going to affect the American psyche, that everybody be afraid to walk out their front door. So that has to be at the right timing. So when America is doing shit elsewhere and they're sending out resources, that's when you hit them, because the resources are out of the country, not inside the country. And this, again, this is why when I was watching on the hearings where they were grilling the lady over the Justice Department, because like, why are you firing these FBI agents and not using this money? Because we need FBI agents on the street, because we believe a false flag or a terrorist attack is going to happen to us at some time soon. And by you not having enough FBI agents on the street, you're not paying attention. I mean, they were going off on her because the feeling is there. It's palpable. It is palpable. Something is going to happen. Everybody know it. We can feel it. You just don't know where. You just don't know where it's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen, but you know some shit about to happen. It's about to happen. We just don't know when and where. So the most opportune time for the enemy would be when America is fighting somewhere else, or got somewhere else attention, and they got resources going. See, right now with the little shit that they just did, they didn't have no real resources moving. Soldiers wasn't moving. But if you got now, you got to put soldiers on the ground. Now you got to hold this stuff down, and you got stuff going out. Oh yeah, now it's time, because you're weak now. Now you're weak. So and when they strike, they're not striking just to say, "Oh yeah, we struck, we did this to you, ha ha ha." No, they're striking into the hearts and the minds of the American people. That's where their strike is, to make the American people so goddamn afraid that when it's time to go out that door, we ain't going out that door because we don't want to be blown the fuck up. That we ain't going to no malls because we don't want to be blown the fuck up. We ain't going to no restaurants. We ain't going to no movie theaters. We ain't doing this. We ain't doing that because we're too damn scared that if we go into a hospital, it's going to blow up. Or we go into this, somebody going to come in there with a gun and shoot everybody up. They want to be able to maximize fear. They want to be able to maximize fear.
But do you think that they actually think that they want to maybe attack and then get away? They ain't gonna get away. It's not.
It,
I don't see them. I see on a live. Well, I hate to use the word on YouTube, but suicide bombers maybe. But somebody who is attacking and then trying to escape, I don't see that being possible. Them escaping.
but it is when you have resources outside of the country. It is because when they move soldiers and move equipment, that's a lot. And a lot of this stuff that they're using here in America now, it won't be available because it's overseas. That's a big thing. And so they will know that we don't have, or America doesn't have what it would normally have, because they send the shit out. And
Mm-hmm.
this happens when you're in conflict. You're always sending stuff out. You're sending stuff out. And there's a strain back home on the American land of resources and equipment because everything is going outside of the country.
Mm-hmm.
These nice equipments that's going to the police departments stop going. And if you got stuff that's working, it's going out too because they're going to say, hey, we need that back. We'll give it back to you when we're done, but we need it. And it's going out the country. It's going out the country. So, yeah, you have those who have that thought of, yeah, I'm going to blow myself up and, get 70 versions or whatever the freak it is. And then you have those who understand, I want to stick and move.
Mm-hmm.
I want to stick and move. And so that thought of getting away is right there because you can. It's just all about how do you set everything up. I mean, the Israelis do it all the time. They stick and move all the time and get the hell out of countries.
That's what I was thinking. When I
Mhm.
asked you the question, I say now one person that know how to fucking attack and move is these goddamn white folks. They know
Exactly.
how to kill and get the fuck out of Dodge.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why for us, we can't say it enough. You better stay away from these places where all white folks go. Stay away from them because these are the places that's going to get hit. I watched the program on the Las Vegas shooter who was up in the Mandolin Hotel shooting them people.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the way he had it set up and he just pop, 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 pop. And people, I thought it was firecrackers. I thought this, I thought that. Not even fucking paying attention. Not even understanding. You don't see no fireworks. And something is pop, 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 and going, and you ain't gonna start moving. You ain't gonna start doing something because your mind, you don't even think that something like that can happen. Even when the singer people figured out, hey, we need to get the fuck off the stage, they never said to the people in the crowd, hey, we under attack, somebody shooting, go to safety. They never said that. They just
Mm-hmm.
got the singers and the band off the damn stage and left the people standing there. Never told the people what the fuck was going on. And they just standing around like, what the hell's happening? Then once you find out y'all getting shot up, yeah, it's kind of too late now. Too late to start crying now. And
Mm-hmm.
there was one black boy on there who got shot. And he was talking about, he was being there because of the country music and all that. And he was like, yeah, and these white folks was being racist towards me. And look at you, you got your dumb ass right around them, and now you're getting shot the fuck up. It makes no sense whatsoever. But we have to stay away from these crowds where white folks are. Stay the fuck away from them. Because
Mm-hmm.
they don't come to where you are, where black people are, and go blow the shit up. They ain't coming to blow you up. They go where it matters to blow their ass up.
That's true.
And we got to get that in our head and understand. Stay away from their ass so you can be safe.
Remember what happened in Nevada? They had some type of festival, and they had them. I think it was some white people that was up in the hotel. Remember, they were shooting at the hotel, shooting down on the crowd, killing people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because you want to hang out with white folks. You want to
Mm-hmm.
go to country music and snap your fingers and do your dance with your cowboy hat on, and you in the wrong place at the wrong time. So you about to feel a lead. So his black ass was feeling that lead. But you know they racist, but you still want to go around them. Don't make a damn bit of sense. So now you knew better. Now you got your ass full of lead. Are you gonna do better now? Are you gonna pay attention now and stay the hell away from them and stay the hell away from their big things that they got going on? Because those are the targets. Those are the targets. These nice malls that white folks shop at, Those the target. Ain't nobody coming down to your little plaza to blow y'all the fuck up. Ain't nobody. They not even think that's not even on their mark. But where those white folks go, that shit on their mark. That's on their map. Yeah, we can hit this. We can hit this. We can hit this. Shop in your own neighborhood. Do what you got to do there. It's going to be safer for you if you but knew. It's going to be safer for you.
So basically, what you're saying is they know who the enemy is. We don't.
Exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yep.
They know the enemy. We don't.
Even when they took over the U.S. embassy in Tehran, they let the women and the black people go. They let black men and black women go. And the only ones they left behind was the white men. But the black people, whether you're male or female, they was letting you free. They were letting you go. Because they knew you a victim and don't even fucking realize you're a victim. But you're going to be around here serving the enemy. We better wake up.
Yeah, we better wake up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, what paragraph?
I think.
Paragraph 9, right?
Yeah, 9.
Yeah. After the war and unto the end of the war, desolations are determined, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. I want you to know that which will be poured means it is the deprivation of you, America, of your ever getting back into power again to attack the nations of the earth. Europe will become one of the worst war areas of all the world, more dreadful than Vietnam and other places that you are planning on going into. Asia will look like child's play when compared to what is going to happen in Europe. The prophets say, woe to the land that is shadowed with wings. This means America's whose sky is filled with planes. Most all of the judgments and troubles which are pointed out in the Bible are pointed at America. Study them for yourself. America, right up to today, with all of her battles with her outside enemies, never loses sight of the inside. Her poor old black slave. She does not want him to do anything. She wants him to be deceived. She does not want him to accept his salvation that Allah is offering the black once slave here in America. Allah is offering the black once slave heaven at once. This he has proven to everyone that believes in Allah and follows me. I am the door. By no means can you get by except you come by me. Your prayers will not be heard unless my name is mentioned in them. Ooh, that's bold right there. God, dog. He said your prayers would not be answered unless my name is mentioned in them. And I am saying that you cannot get a prayer through to Allah unless you mention me in your prayer. Try it and see. And I'm satisfied those who know this will bear me witness. You want to say something about that?
That is 1,000% true. That is 1,000% true. Because trust and believe, when I was in my fight with them bastards, I would definitely put his name in there. Every prayer, and I still do it. His name is in every prayer that I make.
Elijah Muhammad?
Exactly.
Yep. Wow.
Yep. I do not make a prayer without mentioning his name.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And it has
kept me safe. Wow.
Mm-hmm. It has kept me safe.
That's interesting. He say, hold on. This he has proven to everyone. He said, Allah is offering the black one slave heaven at once. And Allah has proven to everyone, no, and this he has proven to everyone that believes in Allah and follows me. He said, I'm the door.
Mm-hmm.
And by no means can you get by except you come by me, and your prayers will not be heard unless my name is mentioned in them. And I'm saying that you cannot get a prayer through to Allah unless you mention me. Try this. And I'm satisfied those who know this will bear me witness. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try.
Mm-hmm.
Try, hey, okay, Elijah Muhammad. Now you said try you and see. I'm gonna
That's what he
show try
said.
you and see, and I already know what I'm gonna pray for too when I call on His name,
Mm.
and I'm gonna come back and let you know if what happened.
Okay.
All right, so I have the key to your salvation, and I have the key to your hell. I
Mm-hmm.
can, if you will let me, pull you out of hell and set you in heaven. Then I can keep you in heaven, or I can keep pushing you and push you into the punishment of hell until you acknowledge that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praises I do forever, and that Elijah Muhammad is his servant. There is no escape for you today. The only way is through me. The only way is through me to Allah. Me first, for you cannot get to Allah without getting to me first. The lull before the storm, America is trying with all of her might to hinder you from getting into heaven. America makes promises to you, and she makes promises to me, but she does not intend to fulfill them. Some of America's financial people promise to loan us millions of dollars, but when it comes time to do so, they vanish. But the day will come when we will be able to do the same thing to them. It is entirely up to them to make good of this day for themselves and their people by submitting to the truth themselves, as the Bible says. The Gentiles shall come to the light of thy rising. Quickly, before we move to paragraph 18, I was reading Harriet Jacobs' autobiography. Is her So Harriet Jacobs was a slave, and
Mm-hmm.
she talks about when she opens up on. I'm reading goddamn 4 books at a time. Damn, I got to stop doing that. But she talks about her grandmother. Her grandmother was a slave. Her mother was a slave. She was a slave. And quickly, her grandmother was allowed. Like her grandmother would work all day, sun up to sundown, and her grandmother knew how to bake. So the grandmother's mistress used to allow her to work all day to do her chores that she had to do as a slave. And at night, she could bake and sell, cookies and cakes and pies and stuff like that because she was trying to gain the freedom of her children. And Harriet says that her grandmother saved up a nice little, nest egg to try to buy her children's freedom. How about her white slave mistress went into debt and came to the goddamn lady and said, "Can I borrow some money?"
What?
Yeah, and Harriet and the grandmother gave her the motherfucking money, and I got to get to that part, but I think she gave the woman the money and she never gave that shit back because
Mm.
the white woman was like, "Bitch, everything you got is mine anyway."
Lord have mercy.
And it devastated her grandmother because can you imagine working 12, 14 hours a day?
Mm, mm,
And
mm,
then go to work for then you got to get permission to work for yourself. And
mm,
you're
mm,
selling
mm.
little bread and cookies and shit like that. And she said everybody loved her grandmother's crackers. So they're buying crackers from the grandmother. She's saving the money to buy her fucking children. And then the goddamn slave master come, put herself in debt and come to you and say, "Can I borrow your money?" And that's the money you've been saving to get your goddamn children. And then she said, "Well, your shit is mine anyway. Why the fuck I got to pay you back? You bitch, you
Mm,
belong to me, and so your money do too."
mm, mm, mm.
That's when I would have cracked that hoe upside the head with a skillet.
Exactly.
I would have cracked that hoe upside with that motherfucking skillet. Say, bitch, we both gonna die today.
Exactly. Yep.
Today, bitch.
Mm-hmm. Mm, mm,
I would have
mm.
fucking snapped. I'll say, bitch, we both gonna die today. Fuck it.
Yep.
Mask off.
Exactly.
Fucking mask off.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got nothing to live for. You done took my goddamn children. You done took
Mm,
my goddamn grandchildren. I ain't got nothing left.
mm-hmm.
Better
Exactly.
off die. Like this white boy, they had this white boy, they just sentenced him to life. He took a plea for life in prison after murdering some people because he was facing the death penalty. So he takes the plea to take life. And I said to myself, why the fuck he just ain't take the death penalty?
Mm-hmm.
Why? And you young, you gonna spend the rest of your life and come out in a body bag? I'd have been like, fuck it, let's tie me up today. Don't wait. I already said I did it. Let's go now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Mm, mm,
Man, I
mm,
would have cracked that goddamn white lady upside the head with a goddamn skillet.
mm, mm,
Oh, I'm
mm.
sorry, that's you on my other channel. Yeah, I would have cracked her ass upside the head with a skillet.
Exactly.
So, America wants to destroy God and me, and she wants to destroy you by deceiving you against following me. America lifts up all of my hypocrites and advises you to follow them, while she knows that you will be the loser. Look at what she has done for Malcolm. America named universities after him in order for you to follow Malcolm. Malcolm turned from Allah and me and started to follow them. America will lift up any one of you that will disobey Allah and myself and come to them. You see how they are doing. Everyone that is a hypocrite to Allah and me, America will raise him up for you to follow. America will glorify his name. Malcolm was no lover of white people. He only tied to them in order to get a chance to fight me, but he was not a lover of them. Malcolm was a double crosser. He tried to get me with their help, as it is written and prophesied that he would do. His name is not written there in the name of Malcolm. Let me say, his name is not written there in the name of Malcolm in the history. Another name is used, but his work is there in the history of the hypocrites in the life of Muhammad. He tried to take advantage while Muhammad was sick. You find this in the writings of Washington Irving and even some science writers of Islam. They can tell you Malcolm's history. Ooh. But the enemy fools you. He did not like Malcolm, but with Malcolm working against me, he used Malcolm. They knew that Malcolm had learned the history of me, and he was not able to change it. And even if the enemy would glorify them, they will come to a knot for their time as a ruling power over Black people is up. They knew that better than Malcolm did. They set up for worship all hypocrites against me. Suppose we would worship China and Russia against them, but we do not worship them, for Allah is most sufficient, more sufficient than all other nations. Allah does not see them as a power and force against him. They are so little and weak in their power. They cannot fight Allah. They cannot fight against Allah and win. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. They cannot fight against, excuse me, they cannot fight against Allah and win. The more you fight against Allah, the more you will lose yourself. From the Bible and from this chapter, from now on, if you do not know that he is tricking you by making you to follow hypocrites, it is your doom. Just watch it. He trails me. He goes down to the Bahamas and everywhere that he thinks that I'm going or where I have been. This is written. I do not fault him for doing what is written of him. I try to do that which is written of me. I do not fault him for what is made by nature to do, nor should he fault me for what by nature I am. But I fault you if you let this little transitor of this life and our enemy deprive you of a great future for yourself. We could buy hospitals and places to educate and train our people into the superior education of the nations of the earth, but you would rather give your money over to white Americans and let them spend it on what they want to, and they pay you a little interest. We offer interest too, the highest of interest, but you don't trust us. So we will build right along without your help. We are going to be the winners. It is prophesied that we who believe will be the winners. And my work that was prophesied of me before I was born, you see it today. Try and find a successful one who is working in opposition to me. None of you who are trying to aid the devil against me will be successful in doing so. And the devil knows that. He's not trying to do these things himself, only with you. He knows that he will not be successful in stopping my progress, not him, nor several times his number, as long as I am with Allah and he is with me, and that will be all the days of my life. And that is chapter 49. Can you talk a little bit about the Mal? He said Malcolm was no lover of white people. Now we know that he used to date a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the biography, as told by Alex Haley, that white woman dogged him in court. She dogged him. She sat there and snitched on him, turned on him,
Mm-hmm.
threw his ass under the bus. When it came time to really show that she really loved and cared about him, she was a white woman at the end of the day.
Exactly.
She was not finna
Mm-hmm.
stand and testify and stand in the gap for Malcolm. She let him
Mm-mm.
fall to pieces. And he came to the realization of who the white man was.
Exactly. And that's why he didn't have no love for them. He knew exactly who they were. He knew exactly who they were. But once he left his teacher and he turned hypocrite, then he began from he went from being a separatist to an integrationalist, somebody that's pushing integration, somebody that's now willing to work with the devil, and that just doesn't work because you know who they are, you know their nature, you know what they're for, you know what they've been made for. But now you're going to stick out your hand in friendship to them, and you know what they are. Mm-mm, don't work. That's why when he first got his 90 days, and who was people that showed up at his door? The FBI knocking on the door. Well, Malcolm, we know you got, some issues, and they put you out for 90 days, this, that, and Malcolm, doing his best to hold his own. But they was trying to get him to turn then. They were trying to get him to turn then. So, when you know what the enemy is and you know what the enemy's about, then you should not be running to them to do anything except kill them. But he turned to them to say, okay, let's work together, knowing who and what they were. You don't
But
work that
I can see that happen in today's time, like what happened with earlier in the study.
way. Mm-hmm.
You
Oh, yeah.
know, you sit and you talk to people, you socialize with people, you embrace people, you develop relationships with individuals. They come on your channel every time you go live. They come in your chat, they email you, they call you. You have long and extensive conversations with these individuals, and they almost become like family because you talk to them every week.
Exactly.
And then the very second that they get upset or something goes left and they get a timeout, one person get a timeout, the other person, we read something that they don't like, and then they go and talk shit about you in the worst way.
Exactly. This is exactly what they do. This is what they do. And, I had one of them sent me a message that they didn't like the animosity that was between us. And I said, well, I don't have no animosity. You did what you did. And business was handled, and then I moved on. We moved on. So I'm not holding no animosity. I don't even think of it in that way. It is what it is. It's done the deal, and I'm on down the road with my work. I don't take the time to be sitting up and thinking, oh, what about this person? What about I'm already gone. You did what you did. When all I ever did for you was to show you love.
Exactly.
That's all that I did, to show you love.
We
And
see it right there in chapter 20.
mm-hmm,
Malcolm got beside himself.
mm-hmm,
He was wrong. He was anxious. He had a point to prove. He angry. So now he want to snap back at Elijah Muhammad, but all he had to do was humble himself.
exactly. That's
Humble
it.
yourself.
That's it.
Don't
Mm-hmm,
go against the God. Don't start talking
mm-hmm,
shit about what you already. And as a matter of fact, Muhammad Ali was 25 when his second wife was 17 years old. No, she was
Mm-hmm.
16 or 17.
Mm-hmm.
She was a little girl herself.
Mm-hmm.
Muhammad Ali's he married his first wife, divorced her
Mm-hmm.
because the first wife, she was I think a year older than him.
Mm-hmm.
And that marriage did not work.
Mm-mm. Mm.
Elijah Muhammad had some leaders in the nation. It was a husband and wife team. They were on like some security or leadership team with Elijah Muhammad. And according to the second wife, this is the fucking second wife, okay?
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand in researching her, she said her parents brought her and Muhammad together. Her parents arranged the marriage.
Mm.
And she was only 16, 17 years old when she married a 25-year-old man who had been divorced
Mm.
for a
Mm.
short period of time. So Malcolm is in his 40s. He's good friends with Muhammad Ali, who's in his 20s, who's marrying a fucking teenager.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
He
you
had
just
a
so
problem with that.
yeah, so he's just mad. You know, people
Mm-hmm.
don't want to humble themselves. And then when they get angry with you, then they go talk about you and talk about your teacher, talk about your leader, talk shit about you publicly as if it's not going to come back to you.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
As if it's not going to come back to you. And then when they come back to you, it was, oh, I'm sorry. But now I see who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Now I see who you are and what you have the capacity to do. You are dangerous. When people do stuff like that, they're dangerous and they cannot be trusted
Mm-hmm.
because they
Exactly.
was too easily persuaded.
Mm-hmm.
And Malcolm should have known better. And you living in the goddamn Nation of Islam house.
Exactly.
Like, because you taught me that he talking all
Mm-hmm.
this shit while he living in a house that's owned by the Nation of Islam.
Exactly.
You ain't got no motherfucking where else to go.
Mm-hmm.
And you in these people's house talking this shit about their leader,
Mm-hmm.
thinking that you gonna always have a place to stay. The audacity to think that.
Exactly. Exactly.
And you
Mm-hmm.
know, a lot of people don't think that Malcolm is wrong because
Mm-hmm.
they don't understand righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
Exactly.
understand loyalty. They don't have third eye chakra activation. They're not spiritual. They don't understand protocol. And there's a way to do everything under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was upset with the Nation of Islam and I didn't like Minister Louis Farrakhan. But when I began to read Message to the Black Man and I began to learn and elevate my intellect and just really be objective in whatever it is that came across my path, I came to the realization. I said Malcolm was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He was wrong.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't share the same sentiments, and that's problematic.
Very problematic.
Malcolm was wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know who the white man is, but you go sit your ass down there and do a whole fucking full video about your damn teacher.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-mm.
To the white man you go?
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
devil? You went and sat in the devil's courtroom.
Mm-mm.
And quietness is kept. Sister Tanetta Muhammad, when she started following Elijah Muhammad, and she said under his spiritual guidance, and they got together. That lady was 16 years old, and I went and I looked up the age of consent, and
Mm-hmm.
she was age of consent. It's higher now in Georgia. I think the age of consent is still 16.
Mm-hmm.
But Sister
Wow.
Tanetta, whose son is what's that son again? What's her son again? Ishmael.
Ishmael. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sister Tanetta was with Elijah Muhammad at the age of consent. That was legal.
Mm-hmm.
And her son is probably more than likely set to follow Minister Louis Farrakhan. But because a lot of people don't like to do research, and I do, I sat one night for hours and I read the what's the Nation of Islam newspaper?
The final call.
The Final Call, and there's another one, Speaks or something like that.
Muhammad speaks.
Yes, I was reading Muhammad Speaks, and I was reading through her old articles. Let me
Mm,
tell you something. She couldn't have married a man her age anyway.
mm,
There's no way that Sister Tanetta Muhammad, wife of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who started under his spiritual guidance and teaching at 16 years old,
mm-hmm,
Maurice, there's no way she could have married a man her age. She did not think, write, speak, act, behave like a typical 16-year-old.
mm,
The way, the energy that I got from her
mm-hmm.
at 16, she was at least 35, 40 in wisdom.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It was hard for me to even get into her because she thinks it's something about the way she thinks. It's not
Mm-hmm.
of this world.
Right.
It's just
Exactly.
not of this world.
Exactly. Yep.
So when you got these sorry ass YouTube motherfuckers out there that just talk shit and don't read and they're not spiritually inclined,
Mm-hmm.
they don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
But at 16 years old, there's no way that Sister Tanetta could have been with a man her age. She really had to be with a older man who, because she was young, writing for 3 different newspapers.
Mm.
She damn near 18, 19 years old, writing for 3 fucking newspapers.
Oh,
What
wow.
child you know do shit like that?
None.
None.
Mm. Mm-mm. Wow.
She was not the average. She was just not the average. So I don't have nothing to say about who he married. I look, because the more I study Elijah Muhammad, I have to take a step back and see things for what it is. Because
Mm-hmm.
I sat and I read Tanetta's work for hours, and I
Mm.
said she ain't even she cut from a different cloth.
Mm. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, I know. I wouldn't even, when I got in the nation, and I would try to read her articles, but that stuff was so deep. I was like, I just pass right on by.
Thank you. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, buddy. Mm-hmm. Yep.
She's not average. She don't even write from this dimension.
Mm-mm.
And the
Nope.
thing about it is, a lot of people, I'm sorry, but you just can't. I'm sorry. It take a special person to understand what the fuck she talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because it ain't even from here.
Mm-hmm.
I say, I don't know what the fuck you talking about, sis, but I say this shit ain't child's play right here. But I say I'm gonna try to
Mm-hmm.
feel your energy. And I sat there until I felt her energy, and I was like, you couldn't have married no young man
Mm-mm.
because it wouldn't have worked.
No.
He want to go to get some soda pop and go to the
Mm-hmm.
movie and go to the juke joint,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to just immerse yourself into 1,000 books and learn.
Exactly. Yep. Mm-mm.
People need to stop playing with Elijah Muhammad. Just stop.
Mm-hmm.
It's more to this than we think it is.
Oh, much more. Much more.
So, he said that I don't even know where we are. Where are
Yeah,
we?
we done. We on 50. Chapter
Oh
50.
yeah. We finished.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, we on 50.
So,
I said,
what
well,
what you got to say in closing?
awesome program as normal. I think that each time we do the program, we outdo what we previously did. And, I'm definitely grateful for you, for the idea, for the reading, because it brings out things that, wasn't even contemplated about talking about. And I'm just very, very thankful for you. Thankful for all of those in the audience that came out Big Brother Forecast Radio, peace and blessings, bro. It's glad to see you. Sean Cooper, peace and blessings. Dana, it's always good to see you, Queen. Uh, and all of those that are also listening and just didn't drop a comment in the box. We are definitely happy for you all to be with us. Continue to like, share, and subscribe. And please do yourself a favor. Go over to our sister Mayat's channel and check out the videos that she have. Trust and believe. You go check it out. You ain't gonna want to leave. You are not going to want to leave. We have a very, very special sister in her. And we got to make sure we treat her good. But please go and see what she offers. It's a lot. Trust me. And if you listening to the new book that she's reading, it will keep you. It definitely will keep your attention and you will go through the emotions. Number 6, chapter 6, I'm still going over that in my mind because it was just very, very heavy. And I'm going to go back and re-listen tonight. And I'll probably drop some comments tonight. But on my first listen, I couldn't drop comments because my head was just going every which way. And so I had to ground myself first. But
Where were you?
Huh? No, I
Where
was
were you?
I was here. I was here in the house. I
And you
was.
was just listening?
Mm-hmm. And I'm listening and hearing things, and my mind is keep like, what in the hell? Because you gotta, as they tell you, you gotta put your seatbelt on when you're in the car. So if you hit something, you ain't gonna fly out the window. You gotta put your damn seatbelt on when you're listening to you read that book. You gotta put your seatbelt on because you're going to hear things that you ain't thought you was going to hear. That you ain't know you was going to hear, and so it comes with a reaction. So you got to strap yourself in, put your seatbelt on, and ride. And so that's why I say I have to chill, come back.
Because you'll go hurt somebody. You'll go tell the people what you told me about what you'll make history. That shit was funny.
Hell yeah, boy. I'd have killed all them bastards. I'd have killed that cracker. Her and her husband wouldn't have made it out. We'd have shot them damn planes down from the sky. No, we'd have made history that night. They would have known not to mess with us no more. We'd have made history books. We'd have made history books around the world because we'd have killed all them crackers that night. I'm telling you, it puts you in that mindset, and you are ready. Because I could literally feel that shit. That's how intense it was. I could literally feel it. And then to have to hear that bastard woman get on the damn stand and just be lying her ass off. Lying her ass off.
But she a good church going Christian.
I tell you, kill them all. Kill them all, God damn it. Kill them all. Nope. So y'all, you do yourself a favor. Strap your seatbelt on and go on over there and listen. Because trust me and believe, you won't be the same after it. You will know the white man is the devil.
I'm telling you.
You will understand exactly what needs to be done dealing with them. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. All right. My sister, your closing comments?
No, it's been fun. It's just, really been fun. They are the devil, and I said to myself, they deserve death.
Mm-hmm.
For what they have done to us.
Mm-hmm.
They true in a court of law. Think about that. When we think of all the atrocities that they have done to us in a court of law, it would be the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
So if I say white people deserve death, that shouldn't be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And it should not come as a surprise.
Exactly.
Because they deserve death.
Exactly.
For what they did to us.
Mm-hmm.
And that alone should make us want to band together and understand that we don't need to teach this in their schools. And I've said that before. Our history does not need to be taught in a public institution. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. It's nice if it is, but it doesn't need to be. And we should not take offense to that if they don't teach our history in their schools. Their institutions were never set up for us anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We the Our history is so dark and it's so twisted, and it would make you sit back and you have to breathe and damn near need an IV. You be crying and you want answers and you get angry and you go through all of these emotions. You don't need that in a public institution. And
Mm-mm.
the way we need to teach our children the things they need to hear, the pictures that we need to show them, the time that we need to take in order for them to get the gist of all of it, it shouldn't be in a public institution. It needs to be in private settings, in our home, in our fraternities, in our sororities, at our family reunions. We need to do this, have a book study in our home with our children, our teenagers, every week to sit them down and say, let's talk.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to learn this from home because there's certain things that the teachers can't say anyway.
Right.
It's certain
Mm-hmm.
words that they cannot say. And when you're talking about history, you're going to go through so many emotions. You just want to be free with that shit. It
Mm-hmm.
ain't no, and let's not talk about perfect and being perfect and what words to use and not use, because this shit is so ugly that you're going to be profane at times.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we bear the burden of educating our children. We are the first teachers. And so we need to get these books. We need to get our bookshelves in order and we need to pull them down and start having family readings at least once a week in your house. Get a
Mm-hmm.
book and read it every week. Read a chapter with your family. Teach your African history at home.
Mm-hmm.
Don't depend on no teacher and public institution to do that because they're not going to do it properly.
Exactly.
You do it.
Exactly.
And I
Mm-mm.
rest with that.
What was that sister's name that they beat to death and the family the courts gave the family $1,000 for her death?
It was $1,900 and he did not say her name. I was going to try to look her up and see if I could find her name, but in the book it was not mentioned who that child is, but the family
Mm.
got $1,900. And the other young lady, she was 17 years old. She was sexually assaulted by 4 men at the same time.
Mm.
So they sexually assaulted her. She knew all of their names. She went to the police. The community wanted to kill, excuse me, the community members, her family wanted to kill the 4 men because she identified them. The law enforcement only arrested 3 of them and had a 5-minute trial, and he was acquitted.
Mm.
So
Mm.
this 17-year-old girl had to live the rest of her life with memories of being sexually assaulted by 4 white demons.
Mm. Mm.
And
Mm.
that wasn't the first time they did that. They did it because they knew there was not going to be no consequence.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know my name and you know where I live. So what, nigga?
Mm.
Take it to the judge, take it to law enforcement, take it to the governor, the mayor, bitch, take it to the United States Justice Department. I guarantee you I'm gonna get acquitted because you a nigga.
Mm.
So when we talk about the trauma, and to go back to what you was asking me in regards to watching this, to reading this book, Negroes with Guns, I said to myself, we really need to sympathize with one another. Just think about that for a moment. You as a black man, you as a father, you as a brother, I need to sympathize with you because we've been through hell.
Exactly.
And because they put us through this hell, we go through things that other people don't have to go through. And I thought about how many men and women are still alive today because Robert Williams wrote this book. in 1962. So watch this. 1962 minus 17, 1945. Okay, my
Mm,
mama's still alive. I
mm,
got people in my family that was born in the 40s. So how many people today that were born in the 40s were subjected to the sexual assault, being put in jail for crimes they simply did not commit? One black man, I think he got 5 or 10 years in prison for looking at a fucking white woman from 75 feet away.
mm,
You
mm,
75 feet away from a white woman and
mm.
she got a fucking problem with that, and you get 5 to 10 years?
Ain't no way.
Do you like, so how many people were not able to get a job? How many people were victimized in prison? How many people were denied housing? How many people were evicted? How many girls were assaulted? How many mothers lost their sons? That is
Mm,
traumatizing, and it changes you and it breaks you. Look at Malcolm X's mother when they killed his father.
yep.
In a mental institution for 26 motherfucking years.
Exactly. Yep.
That lady was broken.
Mm-hmm.
Her children went without a mother. They went without a father. They didn't even have a relationship with each other. What happened to Malcolm when he went to live with his sister? He went into drugs and gambling.
Yep.
We got to start sympathizing with each other and understanding that a lot of times we do the shit we do is because of these white devils and demons.
Exactly.
Like, I
That's
think it was Minister Louis Farrakhan said, don't beat me, teach me.
right.
Don't beat
Mm-hmm.
the black man, teach the black man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because we've been through some shit
Most definitely.
because of these white demons and devils.
Mm-hmm.
And that just made me love black men even more.
Exactly.
That just made me love black women even more.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Mm, mm, mm. Wow. Wow. I am full. I am full. All right. We are at the 3 hour mark. Well done. Well done. And as we say to everybody, thank y'all again for joining us. Catch us back again Sunday. I will be on Sunday, 4 o'clock. I know what the subject is, just don't know what the title is going to be yet. But please come back 4 o'clock and check us out. Trust and believe you'll be enjoying it. You'll learn something if you don't already know what it will be about. But it will be a good talk. Saturday, me and Doc will be live again. Don't know what the program is going to be about yet, but we will be live Saturday at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock Central time. Check us out. And then me and my sister Mayat will be back again next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Mayat, you know when you're going to do chapter 7 yet? Do you know when?
My voice is gone tonight from this reading, so my voice needs to rest.
Mm-hmm.
If it's rested by tomorrow, I'll do 7. If not, I'll just skip a day when it comes, because it's kind of heavy right now.
Right. Okay. So make sure y'all get over there. Chapters 1 through 6, prelogue 1 through 6 is over there waiting to be clicked on, listened to. So please go over, listen, like, share, make a comment, show your love. As we always say, you kill the nigga in you, I'm going to kill the nigga in me, and our God will reign supreme. We are Black First. Today, tomorrow, and forever. Thank you, family. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom.
So you better get the message and get it straight. You're going to need some bridge work. It's simple as that. Because we're living in judgment. We're living in implementation.